the U.S. Senate to control both houses of Congress. The 2016 presidential campaign could have also led Republicans to believe a member of their party should sit in the Oval Office. Gallup noted that historically the party controlling the White House tends to favor one-party control over the legislative branch of government. 24% of respondents this year, irrespective of party, prefer a divided government, a figure consistent with polls over the last 12 years.
For over 35 years, Robertson Roberts has been a trusted source for buying and selling your investment-grade precious metals. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and permanently removed the minimum purchase order for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on investing and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 850-478-5270 or online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the Washington Post on Monday announced the conviction in Iran of the newspaper's U.S.-born Tehran correspondent Jason Rezaian in an espionage case as an outrageous injustice and urged Iranian leaders to overturn it. The case is a sensitive issue in Washington's contentious relationship with Tehran, and it played out as the United States and other major powers forged a deal in July with Iran to curb its nuclear program in return for relief from sanctions. Washington Post executive editor Martin Barron said the verdict against Rezaian was indefensible and that no sentence had been announced. Barron said the guilty verdict announced by Iran in the trial of Jason Rezaian represents an outrageous injustice. Iran has behaved unconscionably throughout the case. The contemptible end to this justice process leaves Iran's senior leaders with an obligation to right this grievous wrong. The Iranian government accused Rezaian of collecting confidential information and giving it to hostile governments, writing a letter to U.S. President Barack Obama, and acting against national security. A watchdog group, the International Campaign for Human Rights in Iran, said Rezaian's trial, which concluded in August, was a judicial farce and challenged Iranian President Hassan Rouhani to correct it. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Big tech news this week as Microsoft has unveiled its new generation Xbox One. Designers say the console's revolutionary new voice command feature makes it easier than ever for the Xbox to control its users. According to Microsoft spokesman Don Matrick, quote, "The Xbox One is programmed with a host of simple voice commands that you will respond to instantly. In addition to phrases like jump, shoot, and insert game disc, users will also understand more complicated instructions like download Call of Duty Update or come into the room and turn on Xbox."
The Xbox One tells us what games to play, what music to listen to, what shows to watch.
Watch TV.
And with that simple command, I'm watching live TV.
The new Xbox's high-tech sensors can also detect your expression and tell when you're looking away from the television.
Andy, look back at the TV.
Microsoft says the new Xbox can also command you using your smartphone or tablet. TechBuzz is raving, quote, "It's the immersive obedience experience we've been waiting for."
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you're invited here to join us on the radio waves. We'll give you the toll-free numbers and our Skype here in moments. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian. Oh, Conan, we got problems with your mic. Try now.
And Conan.
Excellent.
And Mark.
All right. So you guys actually both brought the same news story in here tonight, and we don't know in advance of arriving at the studio what each of us wants to talk about on the radio, because we always bring something to the table, considering that's our job as the talk show hosts. But you, as the caller, can also bring up whatever you want and discuss that here on Free Talk Live. But whenever the hosts of the show have the same story, that's usually a good indicator we should talk about it. And y'all have a story about the draft, which apparently is still something that people are having to register for. I know they made me do it, or they threatened me into doing it when I was 18 years old. I, looking back on it, wish that I had not done that. I wish I had not jumped through that particular hoop. But I remember it was a scary kind of situation for me. I wasn't fully developed as a libertarian or a voluntarist back then. I was definitely coming along. I probably would have called myself a libertarian at age 18. But I think it was like 17 when they send out the threatening notices saying, hey, you better sign this piece of paper and send it in or else.
Yeah, I believe there's something on your tax return where you have to select it, selective services, every time you file. Or if you haven't, you need to indicate that I haven't checked this box ever.
I don't remember. Maybe that's a new thing, or maybe that was happening back then. I feel like I got some kind of a card that they wanted me to send back in, or else they said that you could spend 5 years in prison and get up to a $500,000 fine. And I understand that now they will hit your financial aid. So if you're going to college or whatever, if you want to go to college, you can't do it unless you have filled out this selective service paper.
This piece of paper that likely will never result in you being drafted, but it's still kind of scary to fill it out, right? Like, I filled it out, and nothing ever came of it. All I did, it's all the stick, right? And it's none of the carrot. It's like, if you don't do this, you don't get any of this or this.
That's right, yeah.
You won't be able to drive. You won't be able to do this thing or that thing or the other thing.
Can't get federal jobs, they say.
It says nearly 17 million male U.S. citizens and male immigrant non-citizens between the ages of 18 and 25 currently are registered for conscription with the Selective Service System, an independent government agency. I think the best sort of propaganda against conscription is the movie 300. Because in that movie, you've got 300 Spartans who stress throughout the movie that they're free men. Now, mind you, Spartans had slaves, but they stress that they are free men. And I wouldn't disagree that they are as free as a Spartan could be. But they were fighting a bunch of conscripts, a bunch of people who were forced to fight from, lands far away, trying to pass through the hot pass or do whatever it was that they were doing. And the free men managed to overcome the enslaved men every time until, of course, some spy manages to show them a way around the hot pass. But regardless of that, it's a great piece that sort of shows that free men are going to fight better. And if you listen to those in the military who've enlisted, the last thing they seem to want to do is fight next to
a draftee.
A draftee, because that person's not taking it very seriously.
There's also a lot of them that are not as likely to want to fight near a woman. For a majority of reasons, which, by the way, that's the article we're going to be talking about. But there's two different reasons. Some feel that fighting near a woman, you will be more likely to try to put your life out on the line to protect her. And the other one, of course, is you have your divas, your queens, who are getting in there. They're riling up the dudes who are
distracting.
They might be distracting. They might be living out in the woods or in the desert for months on end, and you got this one female, and it could lead to distractions. And of course, the other one is, and there's another article here in the Washington Post concerning women not being able to pull the same load, not as fast, not as quick, not as strong.
As male counterparts,
right? So I mean,
they
can push buttons and they can do other things, but as far as combat roles where you're actually running around and you're climbing around through the mud, it's not such a great thing.
Now, people will say that on one side you've got the infantry guys who say they're carrying like 95 pounds. And that's not so easy.
That's a lot, man.
It's a lot of weight. They constantly have something, there's always something new being added or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, I'd have to look it up just to make sure what the average one's wearing, but I've heard people say that to me.
Well, Conan has been in the military. So, do you remember?
Nowhere close to 95 pounds.
Were you in infantry?
But I was in infantry. I was support. So we would go in with our vehicles.
You had trucks.
And we would unload stuff, and we just sit there while the crazies were out in the woods having their gun battles, and we just support them.
The guys at the Big Red One, they're huffing it in by foot, and I don't think it's just guessing. I don't think a gal's going to do very well with 95 pounds. I don't think a guy's going to do very well with 95 pounds, but it's going to be that much harder for a woman. We're talking about physical differences.
Sure,
here.
and of course there are exceptions to the rule, but generally women are going to be less strong in their trunk area. Correct?
But it doesn't really matter. They should be about as they potentially are strong from the midsection on down, from your hips on down. They should have as many muscle fibers, but they're going to have half as many from the waist on up. But that's really beside the point. That debate's done. At this point, there are women in the military, and there's the argument that, look, the Israeli military and several other countries' military have women in combat roles, and everything's fine. I don't know how that works out. Not really a big concern of mine, frankly. I mean, I just, how the military goes about doing what it does, go out there and do what you do, fellas. Have a nice time. Doesn't matter to me very much. But, in this case, it looks like they may well be that all women have to sign up for selective service. And that's a pretty, I can imagine, for a lot of gals. If it was scary for me to sign up,
yeah.
Ian, I'm sure you thought about it like I thought about it, is what if I just don't send this crap in?
Yeah, they said you'd get fined up to $500,000 and 5 years in prison. And at that time in my life, I was too scared to disbelieve them.
Yeah, I mean, basically, when you're filling out this piece of paper, you're either delighted to do it, you're scared not to do it, or you feel neutral about it. Now, you could be somewhere on a continuum between those the 2 points between delight and fear, but I think it's safe to say that a lot of people feel dread in filling it out. Whether that it's rightfully felt or not, that doesn't really make a difference.
So make everybody feel that feeling of dread. Instead of getting rid of this selective service and shutting it down, who's proposing this? I want to know more about it. What's going on? Where's the story
It's from military.com, but I would like to point out that there are far fewer women in the military than there are men. So I'm going to guess that women are going to, as a larger percentage of them, are going to feel more dread in having to fill out the selective service form. Does that make sense?
Maybe. Yeah.
It's just a guess.
And the question is, what is the ratio of women who want to do something like join the military versus the ratio of men who feel comfortable, going into battle?
I don't know. Good question.
So I mean,
it's
so if you only have maybe 20% of women out there who could actually who care for the military, who actually want to go that route, you got that. Does that mean that 20% is going to pretty much pull down all women across the U.S.?
I don't think it's 20%.
You think it's a little more than that?
No, I think it's less. I mean, I believe the numbers of women to men in the military are 1 in a tenth. So you're talking about a significantly, less of a population in the military. So I'm just guessing that more are going to wish that they didn't have to. This is some equality we wished we didn't have, fellas. And I know there's a lot of dudes out there going, whoopee! Women have to do this crazy, awful thing too. And this isn't the kind of freedom I'm looking for.
This isn't freedom at all.
Right. I don't consider equality to necessarily be freedom, and this is a nice example of that for me. This
is a quality of oppression. This is a quality of demands on the government. And I want to know more about, is this a proposal? Is this definitely going to happen? Where's this coming from? Is it the draft board or whoever's in charge of the selective service that just arbitrarily decides? Does Congress need to make the decision here to make this change? 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Do you support the draft? You can share your thoughts with us.
When we ran out, we stopped using it.
Why would you stop?
Why undo all the good that's been accomplished? We thought everything was fine, and that was not a good thing.
No.
He started stinking. It was awful.
Shedding comes back, loss of hair, lots of dandruff.
Scratching will return. His shedding will increase.
If I ever took Roy off of Dinovite, he would go back to his hair loss.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dinovite,
when I get to about 3/4,
oh no, I've got a couple more scoops. It's time to place my order. Dinovite.com.
Each and every day she is getting that Dinovite.
The omega-3 fatty acids,
flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa,
the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dinovite. If it's working, don't quit.
Don't do what I did and run out.
859-428-1000. 859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
My name is Bill Bonner, and I'm the president of the largest private news and research network in the world. And I paid for this airtime because I have an important message to the American people. There's a change coming that the government isn't telling you about. This change has deep implications for life in America, from where you shop to the doctors you visit and the family you want to protect. Look, I've made predictions like this before. Thing is, I was right then too. A few years ago, I warned that housing prices would collapse. They did. Before that, I warned that .com companies would crash. They did. Those who listened had a chance to save themselves. But this has nothing to do with the stock market. This will affect us all.
You can watch the video for free right now by going to disappearingwealth.com. Again, that's disappearingwealth.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. There comes a time when you need custom embroidered or screen printed apparel for your business, organization, or a special event. Corporate Casuals has been helping people create great looking logoed apparel for over 25 years. They can produce a single piece or thousands using name brand apparel like Nike, Patagonia, Adidas, and Hanes. Create your logo in their online embroidery design studio or upload your existing logo and they'll turn it into embroidery. Go to corporatecasuals.com/FTL and include FTL in the order notes and save 5% on your order.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Of course, you can join us here. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, we'll talk about millions of Facebook users who have no idea they're using the internet. It's Ian, Conan, and Mark in the studio here tonight. And we've also got Skype, by the way. Our Skype username is LRN.FM, so feel free to connect with us in that way if you want. Are you somebody who supports the draft? Because I definitely am not interested in the draft coming back, but yet all of the mechanisms that they need to bring the draft back have never really gone away. The draft boards are still out there. In fact, it wasn't long ago that they were looking to shore those draft boards up to make sure they were staffed still, that there were still people sitting on those draft boards. Now, the draft hasn't been around since, what, 70 – what year was it? Early 70s, right?
I don't know what year, but it was in the early 70s.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time. We're talking 40 years since the draft has been around. And it's all they have to do, basically, is flip a switch, and the draft will come back. And so the fact that you guys have a story about people who are now talking about making women register for the draft and that this might actually become a real thing is particularly scary. If the draft is defunct, if the draft is no more, why do we keep hearing things about the draft and the process and the draft boards? And it's just ominous to me. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We've got Doug. He's in Illinois. You're on Free Talk Live. Doug, go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, in regard to the draft, really what you have it come down to can be, do you own your body or not? Or are you owned by the government? And that can be my issue with it. We have never had a problem in a legitimate war, like the Revolutionary War, and even, the World War II and World War I, of getting men to volunteer to go to war. They keep the draft in for the fact that they fear that there could be a war like the Iraq War or the Vietnam War, where the sheep will actually begin thinking. You have to remember, the majority of the American people have crap in their head. I mean, they are a very dumb people. They are sheep. They will follow what they're told. They will follow the propaganda. But they fear that one day maybe the sheep will wake up and they will not want to go to the war, and therefore the government will have to make them go to war.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That can be my take on it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with quite a bit of this. So I did some reading recently, and it was kind of surprised that they were turning down enrollees in World War I because they had enough people. And it was some movie I'd watched or something. I watched an inordinate amount of video on World War I, and they were turning people down because they had enough folks. They didn't need them. World War II, signups were fine. I would agree with you that you're talking about Vietnam, that it was difficult to get people to sign up. And when the Iraq thing was going down, they also had to lower the restrictions for people coming in. So that fits your narrative.
Right. What it can come down to can it be, again, it can come down to the individual and the collective. A lot of people have to figure out that the government, they do not value your life. They do not value you being an individual. They only look at the collective. That can be it. And,
you're a resource.
I am not.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's how they view you. As a draftee, you're a resource of the nation state, and therefore you should be able to be employed in that way. Whatever you've decided it is that you should do in your life, whether it's flip burgers or plumbing or go and do a computer programming, whatever it is you've decided is subservient to what the state decides you should do, which is to go out there and catch a few bullets.
Right, and that can be the issue. I mean, I have with my family, a lot of the older men in my family, they believe that, if you're not willing to die for the country, well, I don't have an issue dying for the country in a legitimate war where we are attacked. You know what I mean? I'm not going to war and going to fight over in a country where we've never been. Look at what happened in Iraq. The overwhelming majority of the people, if you remember when we got into that war, were in favor of the war. I mean, they were like sheep.
I was.
The government told them a lie. The government, well, not a lie, but the government had wrong information. We rushed into it under fear, and they got accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. So they didn't need the draft. But if it should ever come to be where the people are like, you know what, maybe we might not want to go to war, well, they're going to have to implement the draft to get them to go. I mean, that can be the fear. We've never had a problem getting people to volunteer for a legitimate war.
Plus, if there's a problem with getting people to go, you can always raise the wages.
Hey, Doug, thanks for your call and thoughts tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. Our toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Maybe you support the draft. But let's jump into the story here in a moment. I'm going to bring What's the Frequency Kenneth on the line from Colorado on Skype. Hello, Kenneth.
Hello. Speaking of being forced to do things you don't want to do, involuntary servitude in the name of jury, quote-unquote, duty, I am holding in my hand a jury summons.
Oh, okay.
Of course, what I tend to do is I tend to answer questions truthfully when I'm in the building with them or when I'm filling out their questionnaires. So I have very little chance in hell of actually being on a jury.
Yeah, they don't like putting libertarians on juries because a lot of us know about jury nullification, which is your right to vote your conscience as a juror, which means that you can vote not guilty if you just don't like the law. If you think the law is bad, you can just vote not guilty. It doesn't matter if they caught the guy red-handed with a pound of pot.
Correct. So I have an option here to ignore it, which isn't advisable because it's got a supposed 6-month prison sentence.
Well, this is a draft. I mean, I think it's interesting you called about this tonight because we're talking about essentially a miniature draft. This is the draft that still exists, and it is the jury duty draft. If you don't respond to it, they could come after you with some sort of contempt of court or criminal charge or something like that if they wanted.
The good news is they only want me for one day or one trial, and they're not going to select me for a trial. In California, it's worse. But I'm pretty much guaranteed to waste a day there. So I'm trying to figure out how to optimally waste my day there. I'm kind of wanting to reach out to your listeners for some ideas, so I can listen to the rest of the show and see if anybody comes up with a good one.
Yeah. Okay.
But
well, I mean, I guess I'm technically listening to you, so I'll throw my my suggestion in there. I would recommend bringing jury nullification information into the jury selection.
Yeah, I got 3 things already listed that I'm thinking about. One is I've got a shirt that says "Go to Jail" on it. The Monopoly style thing.
Okay.
Figuring might wear that. I might wear my Free Mark Emery shirt, with a big pot leaf on it.
That's good. That'll get you kicked off real fast.
I'm probably going to print out a bunch of FIJA pamphlets, but I got to think about what to avoid so I don't get myself into really nasty, ugly trouble.
Well,
I'm thinking I'm probably going to try to spread them all around the place as soon as I get there. Is what I'm thinking about.
So,
doing.
I mean,
that ought to take care of it.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, I mean, if you go into a courthouse and it's your goal to do activism, there's a chance you're going to get in trouble, right? There's a chance some of the security agents, the bailiffs, are going to not like you.
Can't they just ask him to leave? In which case, since he's there, he'd be like, "Am I out of jury duty then?" I mean, it seems like the first step here is if they're upset about your behavior, is that they ask you to leave, ask you to stop, and ask you to leave. I'm like, I can't leave. I'm stuck here. You people threatened me if I didn't come here.
Stand by. What's the frequency, Kenneth? We will come back and we'll continue to discuss this. You can join us here, 855-450 free. It's Free Talk Live.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the most affordable body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. Why would you go anywhere else? KD offers soft armor and rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free water purification kit for a limited time with any body armor package. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Come and take it.
Due to an upturn in the economy, Main Street Business Loans has pre-approved the release of millions of dollars in small business funding. Your business may already be pre-approved to receive up to $250,000. We've sent out millions of pre-approval letters. We see the economy growing, and our underwriters believe now is the time to invest in your business so you can grow faster and make more money. And we're prepared to give you up to $250,000 to do it. Your funds can be available in 5 days. There are no application fees, no annual fees, just quick access to up to $250,000. If your business did not receive your approval letter to get up to $250,000, call Main Street Business Loans Approval Desk now.
800-430-4505. 800-430-4505. 800-430-4505. That's 800-430-4505.
BlakeDevelopment.net is a global leader in website creation, app development, and online marketing, catering to businesses of all sizes. There's really no job too big or too small for BlakeDevelopment.net. Do you have an idea for a killer app, but you don't know how to code it? Are you missing out on online sales? Or maybe your business needs help with social media. Websites start at just $200, and they're offering 3 years of free domain registry. Yes, they take Bitcoin. 844-SITE123. BlakeDevelopment.net, 844-SITE123.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Keenvention is coming up fast, October 30th through November 1st. Get your tickets now at keenvention.info. Keenvention is an intimate event where you can meet dozens of key liberty activists from across the Shire, including Oathkeeper Chris Reitman, Libertarian presidential candidate Daryl W. Perry, illegal Uber driver Christopher David, Neocash Radio's Dr. Darren Tapp, State Representative Mike Sylvia, rated an A+ by the NHLA, the Seditious Sirens, The Rebel Love Show's Rob Mathias, tech guru Brian Sovereign, cop blocker J.P. Freeman, new mover Dr. Taryn Lupo, longtime political activist Dennis Goddard, Church of the Invisible Hand minister Rich Paul, Shire Dude, and dozens more. Only 100 tickets are available in advance, so lock yours in now for just $60 or with Bitcoin. That includes access to the Hallow Keen costume dance party. Reserve your tickets now at keenvention.info. Visit keenvention.info for more speaker announcements, or look for our page and event on Facebook. That's keenvention.info.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Join us here, toll free. The number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. If you're online, then you really ought to consider your privacy when you're on the internet. And by default, you generally don't have it. You've got to take steps to get privacy, and ProXPN is an excellent choice. They're a virtual private network. They encrypt your online data, so your internet service provider will not know what you're doing once you start using ProXPN. So just go to proxpn.com to get started there. And when you're ready to order, you can use code FTL50 to get 50% off the regular monthly price when you buy the annual account. Again, that code is FTL50. ProXPN has more servers than ever before, meaning greater speed and security, and they don't keep any logs of your activities whatsoever. So that discount code's pretty great, but you can also get an even better deal if you pay with Bitcoin and go to proxpn.com/AMP. That's AMP, like advertise, market, and promote. And you'll then get 2 years of ProXPN for less than $50 worth of Bitcoin, and $5 of your purchase will go to the Free Talk Live AMP program, which helps us spread the ideas of freedom all around the world. So you can really help us out, and you can get great virtual private network coverage from ProXPN by going to proxpn.com/AMP. That's where you can pay with Bitcoin. If you don't have any Bitcoin, you can still use code FTL50 to get that 50% off discount. And again, it's proxpn.com. Help spread the ideas of liberty and take back your privacy. With you in studio tonight, you've got Ian here.
And Conan.
And Mark.
Let's go back to What's the Frequency, Kenneth. He's calling for suggestions on what to do. He's got jury duty. Is it your first time being called in for jury duty?
Oh no, I've been in there several times. That's the reason why I know I won't be selected, because I know they're looking for libertarians, and
right.
They don't want you finding anybody innocent or anything, or not guilty or anything like that.
Yeah, well, libertarians are more likely to know about jury nullification, which of course your right to decide the verdict based on your opinion,
and be more likely to not be very happy with the idea of victimless crimes.
Yeah, and a lot of these courts will require you to fill out paperwork as a potential juror. Now, have you filled out this paperwork yet, or are they going to make you do that when you get there?
No, I haven't filled it out. They want you to bring it filled out, and I'm not even sure I want to fill it out. I'm thinking about treating it like a when they have the census. I'm thinking about just putting my name on it and my age, and
that's an
about
interesting
it, right?
approach. Don't give them any information that you aren't, constitutionally obligated to, or something like that.
Yeah, it's a really nosy form, and I think when they call me up and said, "How come you didn't fill it out?" I'm gonna say, "Well, which parts are required?" And
well, they'll tell you the whole thing's required.
Yeah,
but
and
you'll
where's
have,
the statute?
Right. Yeah, that's what you'd have to follow it up with. Is what statute can you point me to confirm what you're telling me, Mr. Bureaucrat?
On the other hand, if I can be more trouble in some other way, and filling out the form like a good little boy gets me deeper down the rabbit hole, maybe that's a good idea. I don't know.
Well, you don't want to engage in perjury, right? Like, that's not a good thing. You don't want to get caught
there are
for
legal
that.
terms on this form. I don't know how to answer. It wants to know what my place of residence is.
That is a legal term.
Geez, I don't know. I can't answer
you're not an attorney, so how can you know what a residence is?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of occupation. I'm not sure what that is legally. I don't know if I can figure that out.
Does it ask like what your ideology is, or how would you handle a situation, or is it all just
No, this is the entry form. So they basically, I think they just kind of want to know how to track you down and put you in jail. If they need.
Usually on these forms, the question isn't about your ideology, but it's about what groups you're part of.
Yeah,
So
they-
go ahead.
When you get into the pool, I mean, when you get into the pool and you get selected for as a potential juror, then they'll start asking you that kinds of questions.
Mhm.
And I've been rejected every time I've been at that stage. They'll ask you questions like about reasonable doubt. And, I don't mince words with them. I say, no, reasonable doubt means reasonable doubt. It doesn't mean it looks like he did it. And,
It sounds like you're going to have a lot of fun with this, and I wish I could be there to witness it because I imagine you're not going to be allowed to record any of this. A lot of courthouses are very restrictive on recording freedom, and they don't allow it at all.
I guess
So-
I'll wear 2 pairs of underwear just in case I have to spend more than a day in jail. I heard that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I never really thought about that before.
Well, I think who was it? One of the
At
guy
least
from
wearing
Tex-
one sounds like a good idea.
Well, I mean, the guy from Texas said he did that. That was the idea, was that after like 2 days off, you can kind of switch pairs of underwear.
So good luck. Let us know how it pans out. I think your best plan, in my opinion, the most effective one, would be to taint the jury pool with jury nullification information. I mean,
Yeah,
the
that's
more-
right.
I don't know that that's safe. I don't.
It's risky.
I don't
wondering
think
about
that's
how
safe, and I don't
that
think the shirts are a good idea either. I think they could get you for exactly what Ian said, tainting their entire jury pool, and they might decide, hey, look, we're sending all you guys home. We're keeping this guy. We're throwing him in jail. All the rest of you are going home.
Mark
They could
Emery
decide
isn't
that.
on trial.
Now, wait, this is
So-
this Denver?
Yeah, this is Denver.
Okay,
So
this
that's
is the
kinda
same
interesting in
city.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the same city we talked about a few weeks
Well, actually,
back.
I'm sorry, it's not Denver. It's Jefferson County, but it's right next to Denver. So it's
Okay,
the
so
same
you're not going to be
neighborhood,
at
right?
Denver District Court or whatever?
No, it won't be that city court. Right.
Okay, well that may bode well for you. Who knows? If you've never done jury nullification outreach at this courthouse before, it's a crapshoot. I mean, they may freak out, they may attack you. Certainly, we know that they've arrested people like Julian Heiklin and then basically cut him loose without any criminal charges just to get him out of people's hair and to stop him from handing out the information. But if you're willing to face a little bit of risk, then it could be an interesting and educational time. Thank you for calling.
One good thing. One more thing.
Yes.
One good thing is that Denver's been excoriated for what they did.
what's the
Basically,
latest
it's
on that?
everybody except that judge. Well, I've been hearing most of it through you, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
But they've been excoriated for it. So there's a likelihood that they may not want to make a big deal out of it.
Right. This is you're referring to when Denver's district court cracked down on the jury nullification outreach activists who are outside the courthouse. And you're going to actually be on the inside with the jury pool, so that certainly changes things. You could also consider handing out the flyers as the jurors are arriving and then kind of going in toward the end of the pool as well. That way you're not actually doing it inside the courthouse.
That's interesting, because when they try to send me away, then I'll pull out my summons and say, do you want me here or don't you want me here?
Yeah, that would be entertaining. And if you're outside the courthouse, you can record them as well. So keep that in mind, too. Good luck. What's the frequency, Kenneth? Appreciate the call. And he called us on Skype, by the way, which is why it sounded like he was almost sitting in the studio with us here.
Yep.
You can join us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Coming up, the Democratic debate drinking game. Mark, you've got the rules. I don't know what time it starts, but we're not going to be paying too close of attention to it here.
I'm pretty sure somebody's going to get lied to.
Yeah, let's guarantee if a politician opens their mouth.
I just want to see the bad lip syncing.
Bad lip
Those
reading.
are so brilliant.
Yeah,
I love the Republican one. It's so good.
How do they make those?
It sounds like they got a whole team of dudes just sitting around, really smart dudes, and of course whatever's coming out of their mouth is just jibber jabber. I mean, hardly any of it makes sense. It just.
Is it a computer program, though? I mean, because how can you really sit there? I mean,
I think it's just really smart guys.
Really? I mean, you can sit there and watch someone's mouth moving and say, that looks like he said the F word.
My guess is it's some brilliant deaf guy.
Ooh.
And that he just, he's like, oh, yeah, this is what it looks like. And he puts together some silly sentence, and then they cut over, and then he puts together another silly sentence, and then they cut over.
That could be. That's a good guess.
I have I guess my wife's best friend is extraordinarily hearing impaired. And she has to wear she lip reads, basically. She wears hearing aids, but she can't really understand me, and I'm just not used to talking to her. So I sometimes doing whatever I'm doing.
You're not looking at her. She
not
can't
looking at her.
hear you.
She can't understand what I'm saying. But what's amazing is I talk quickly, and she never has any problem at all understanding me if I'm looking at her.
Is there any software out there that can lip read?
That's what I'm wondering, if there's some kind of software involved in making those videos, because you would think it would take forever to put one of those things together. We're talking about the bad lip readings, which is taking video of somebody that was saying X, but putting in audio that's not what they originally said. But
not even close.
It looks like it syncs up. It's amazing stuff. 855-450 free. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
When the most powerful and destructive witch in 13th century France chooses a successor, her frightened young protege, Liana, escapes into the wild. Pursued by witch hunters, the town watch, and her mistress, Liana's only hope is a pair of newly returned crusaders, one with PTSD, the other a complete rascal. The Witch's Hand by Wendy Joseph is a cut above the usual sword and sorcery fare, a thinking person's historical fantasy novel. Available now at your favorite booksellers or visit wendyjosephwrites.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at PatriotNecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
PatriotNecklace.com?
PatriotNecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from PatriotNecklace.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
This is your Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Tuesday, gold is $7 lower at $1,163 per ounce. Silver is up 6 cents at $15.95 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $250 US. Roberts Brokerage has been helping clients with buying and selling precious metals for nearly 40 years. Give us a call today, 800-874-9760, or visit us online at rrbi.co.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You are invited here to join us. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Everything from the draft to jury duty, which there really isn't that big of a difference fundamentally between the two. Jury duty's sort of a temporary draft. If you don't show up, they can punish you for it. Obviously, the military will probably punish you harder, but who knows? Judges can be real jerks about when you ignore their orders. So whatever you want to discuss, you're welcome to. Maybe you support the draft. We have yet to talk to someone who supports the draft and what
they're out there, lots of them.
Oh yeah. What I guess precipitated this conversation was an issue about women possibly being forced to register for the Selective Service. And we've yet to really even get into that story. Of course, you can call in and bring up what happens to be on your mind. You can also join us here on Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM on Skype. And our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. It's Ian, Conan, and Mark in the studio. Let's go to Mike. He's in Pennsylvania. You're on Free Talk Live. Hey, Mike.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
My suggestion for the guy who called in regarding jury duty, since he knows about jury nullification, would be for him just to go in, lay low, toe the line, and try to get himself on a jury. And since he knows the ropes, and he just hope and pray that he gets on a drug trial or something, and he could do more good just setting somebody free.
I tend to agree with you. The only problem is that they have their ways of ferreting folks like us out. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to get on a jury. I think that's a fine idea, but it can be difficult, and you certainly don't want to get in a situation where you can be caught in a lie to the court.
Right.
So
I don't suggest he lie, but maybe omit the truth here and there when he can.
yeah, if you can be careful about that. I think the Fully Informed Jury Association does have some recommendations on the best way to go into a jury selection without revealing information that could possibly get you kicked off of a jury. I don't remember what the brochure is called, but I'm pretty sure they've got that information on the Fully Informed Jury Association site, which is FIJA.org, F-I-J-A, FIJA.org. So go there and look for that. Mike, have you ever nullified? Have you gotten on a jury successfully?
Well, I have a felony, so the last time I got a jury summons, I was disqualified from
that'll do it.
on the jury.
You still had to show up, though, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
No, okay.
On the original form you send back, it asked if you had a felony, and I sent that back, and then they sent me a card back that said I was excused from jury duty.
Mike, thanks for the encouragement. I appreciate your call tonight. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. So let's talk about whatever it is that's happening with women possibly being forced to register for the draft with the Selective Service system. Mark, Conan, I'm not sure which of you wants to tell this story because you both brought it to the table.
I've got the one
tonight.
from military.com, and I think this one's pretty good. Women will eventually have to register for the draft if true and pure equality is to be realized in the U.S. military, Army Secretary John McHugh said Monday. If your objective is true and pure equality, then you have to look at all aspects of the roles of women in military, McHugh said, and registration for the draft will be one of those things that will have to be considered. McHugh said draft registration was not a subject to be decided by the services or the Department of Defense and will ultimately have to be dealt with by Congress.
By Congress, okay. That's what I was wondering.
He expected a pretty emotional debate and discussion.
Yeah, right now they're actually discussing which roles are going to even be accepting of females. And I think, as far as I know, it's just the Rangers right now. That's but as far as like infantry, Navy SEALs, I don't think that they're taking women yet. So
didn't Demi Moore do a movie about that?
She did a great job.
That doesn't mean that you can actually be a Navy SEAL as a woman.
I believe that the Rangers have two women that have graduated at this point. I don't know.
That was just fiction, huh?
I think that it's going to be difficult. Like, those women are going to have a difficult time. For one, I imagine they're, can probably beat, the one of them can probably beat all three of us up by herself. But I imagine that they're going to have to deal with a lot of people who are like, hey, they gave you gals, an easier road than they did the guys? And I don't know the answer. I can't speak to that. If there's a lot of upper body work, then they're going to have to be very unusual women to be able to do that stuff. But maybe they are.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with this at all. If they can pull their weight, then go ahead, do whatever.
Well, right. If
the
requirements are equal, right? If
correct. So you can't like, for example, military, the PT test, the physical training test. There are two different tests, one for men, one for women, and then of course it's all different according to your age. So
that doesn't sound very equal.
It's not very equal at all.
Yeah.
So but we, like I said, I was a support, so I don't really care. We're not out there rucking around 60-pound packs on our back, and we're not crawling around through the mud shooting people. So we got machines doing all the work for us. So we were just button pushers.
Mm-hmm.
Great, but if you are holding your whole troop back because you can't carry your own weight, someone's having to carry some extra weight, some of your luggage, then that's no good.
I can imagine that's going to make some people very, very upset if women can't carry the amount of the packs that the guys can.
And no one's going to come to the table at this discussion that he's talking about is going to happen and propose ending the draft. It's all going to be about whether or not women should be or should not be subject to it.
Well, if Ron Paul was still up there, he would.
He sure would.
He would definitely suggest it, and he has in the past as well. And he brought up some really good points. We were talking about the draft being scary. Is it something we should be concerned with? I'm not feeling the draft is ever coming back. I mean, with all the unmanned equipment that the military are using these days, we don't have a problem with getting troops on. And if we ever did have a problem, we as in the U.S., they would just increase the salary. They would just throw some more college credits your way, or some more college benefits.
Well, but Conan, on the other hand, it was back in 2008 when they really were talking a lot about this national service idea.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a draft where all young people, maybe college age or high school age, would be forced into some sort of national service program, meaning that they would get to choose either to go into some sort of military service role or to basically be like an AmeriCorps kind of person or whatever you want to, these different bureaucracies, these sort of make-work bureaucracies.
I thought, wasn't there a third option as well? So you had like
I don't recall.
You had some kind of community service thing, or you had joined in the military, and then going into service as a government employee. I think that was the third option.
Well, they never really firmed up the deal, and so there are a bunch of proposals out there for national service. So the draft, if it comes back, probably won't look like the draft of old. They'll dress it up. They'll call it something else.
Yeah, they'll call it serving your country.
National service.
Or if you want to get college tuition or assistance, you'll have to participate in this program. Or if you want to vote. I've heard people saying you shouldn't be able to vote, and if you haven't served your country in some way or another.
There was a summit, as I believe it was called, in 2008, which featured both Barack Obama and John McCain agreeing that national service should be a thing and that they should move forward with that. Thankfully, they haven't moved forward with it. It has, not quite been a decade yet, but we're closing in on that. And hopefully we'll never see the light of it. But remember, it was Barack Obama who I believe said that he wanted to have a national service organization that was as large and as well funded as the U.S. military.
Yes.
So there are definitely...
And as powerful, I believe.
Yeah. And so there are
as
definitely...
large, as powerful, and as well funded as the U.S. military.
Exactly.
I remember that.
So there are definitely people in the federal government that want to see this happen. I remember that summit that they had was sponsored by major corporations like Target, I believe was one of them. Home Depot, I think, was another one. So they had all these big, mega corporations who were also talking about how great they thought national service was. And I hope that doesn't come back around and actually become real. But, that's my prediction. If they bring the draft back, they'll bring it back in a form to where whenever these conversations start to happen about having women in the draft, that may be the time when you start hearing the rumblings about national service, because they know it'll be unpopular to just bring back the draft. But if they bring it back in a way where they can sell it to people like, oh, it's not the draft. You don't have to join the military. You can, if you want, join the military, but now you have a choice. You, young 17-year-olds, you can now choose to join AmeriCorps and be part of the National Service Program, where you can go out and do whatever it is the government tells you to do, for 2 years of your life or a summertime or whatever. The time frames are, different depending on who you're talking to about this.
Sounds like a prison road gang to me.
Yeah, except it would apply to pretty much anybody that was going to a government school or wanted to go to college or whatever. So again, there's different factors that will come into play. So what the final program will
Chain
look
them
like.
together and put a guy with a shotgun over him.
Our toll-free number is...
Swing low.
855-453.
Taking it off, boss.
855-450-3733. You can share your thoughts with us on the draft or national service or whatever you want. Plus, the millions who don't even know they're using the internet. Coming up.
If you expect secure, privacy-oriented services and real human support from your web hosting provider, choose Virtual Space International. From domain names and SSL certificates to offshore banking accounts, Virtual Space International has been the all-in-one, multi-language solution for over 25 years. And satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. We even accept Bitcoin. Find out how to get 50% off for life at SaveTimeHosting.com.
As a pioneer of the e-commerce movement, Overstock.com is proud to be the first major retailer to accept Bitcoin. Overstock was the first because Patrick Byrne, Overstock's CEO and founder, firmly believes in personal freedom and cryptocurrency. Over the past 16 years, Overstock has furnished over 18 million homes with a diverse line of products to suit everyone's unique styles and preferences. Support Overstock and freedom of choice while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, October 13th, 2015. Silver is trading at $15.85 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,159 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $251. Antiwar.com reports Syria's largest Kurdish militia, the People's Protection Unit, YPG, have announced they are joining a new rebel faction initially dubbed the Syrian Arab Coalition, but subsequently renamed the Democratic Forces now that they are dominated by a Kurdish faction. The faction includes a handful of smaller Arab tribal militias along with an Assyrian Christian faction. The group is said to be made up of about 3,200 fighters overall, though this is likely primarily the YPG itself, who controls significant territory in the Hasakah province. Ironically, the YPG's main city, Hasakah, is co-defended by it and the Syrian government, so its ties to the rebellion in general are unclear. The promise of a massive influx of U.S. weapons into this new faction, however, likely was sufficient to get them on board. U.S. military officials were quoted as saying they were going to provide fresh weapons to the new faction and get them to attack Raqqa, the capital of the Islamic State Caliphate. The rebels have expressed confidence that they could capture the city in less than 2 months if given enough weaponry, though most U.S. efforts to arm rebels have ended up with the Islamic State coming out even stronger at the end and with a bunch of new U.S.-made weapons. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports a Gallup poll released Monday indicates 40% of surveyed Republicans now favor a single party controlling the Congress and the White House, up from 24% last year. 43% of Democrats agree, a figure similar to the 47% revealed in 2015. Independents this year are more likely than last year to say it makes no difference whether the president and Congress are the same party, 45% this year compared to 39% last year. The change among Republicans can be attributed to the 2014 elections, in which the party gained control of the U.S. Senate to control both houses of Congress. The 2016 presidential campaign could have also led Republicans to believe a member of their party should sit in the Oval Office. Gallup noted that historically the party controlling the White House tends to favor one-party control over the legislative branch of government. 24% of respondents this year, irrespective of party, prefer a divided government, a figure consistent with polls over the last 12 years. For over 35 years, Robertson Roberts has been a trusted source for buying and selling your investment-grade precious metals. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and permanently removed the minimum purchase order for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on investing and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 850-478-5270 or online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the Washington Post on Monday announced the conviction in Iran of the newspaper's U.S.-born Tehran correspondent Jason Rezaian in an espionage case as an outrageous injustice and urged Iranian leaders to overturn it. The case is a sensitive issue in Washington's contentious relationship with Tehran, and it played out as the United States and other major powers forged a deal in July with Iran to curb its nuclear program in return for relief from sanctions. Washington Post executive editor Martin Barron said the verdict against Rezaian was indefensible and that no sentence had been announced. Barron said the guilty verdict announced by Iran in the trial of Jason Rezaian represents an outrageous injustice. Iran has behaved unconscionably throughout the case. The contemptible end to this justice process leaves Iran's senior leaders with an obligation to right this grievous wrong. The Iranian government accused Rezaian of collecting confidential information and giving it to hostile governments, writing a letter to U.S. President Barack Obama, and acting against national security. A watchdog group, the International Campaign for Human Rights in Iran, said Rezaian's trial, which concluded in August, was a judicial farce and challenged Iranian President Hassan Rouhani to correct it. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is The Onion Week in Review. In light of reports this week of a Russian crime ring stealing 1.2 billion username and password combinations from internet users, experts from top security firms across the country reportedly advised Americans to refrain from clicking on anything at all. The nation's top security specialists warned individuals to actively avoid any scrolling or swiping on the internet, and further urged Americans, as an added precaution, to steer clear of buttons, keyboards, and computer screens altogether. In other news, an employer botches a job interview. A date's flaws are coming at a woman faster than she can rationalize them, and a going out of business sign thanks a neighborhood for 3 months of no support whatsoever. Whether or not this video news summary eased the pain of your existence, you can now take solace in the fact that you're a few minutes closer to departing this meaningless world. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
You may join us here on Free Talk Live by dialing our toll-free number. It's 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight in the studio, you've got Ian.
And Conan.
And Mark.
And you can bring up anything that you want. Still looking to talk to somebody who supports the draft, because there's rumblings again that, in this case, not that the draft will come back, but that women will be forced to register for the draft, that nobody really wants to come back, but yet they continue operating the selective service system, and they could, of course, throw the switch on the draft and bring it back tomorrow if they wanted to. And I imagine that in the Democratic debate tonight, which apparently kicks off in about 20 minutes, that both of the candidates on that stage would support this draft/national service program that has been discussed. Also, the Republicans, I wonder how many of them would support it. I suspect almost all of them. Maybe Rand Paul would oppose it. I'd be interested to hear what his position would be about that. But nobody's going to come to the table and say, hey, the discussion shouldn't be about whether everyone should be equally subject to the draft. The discussion should be, shouldn't we get rid of selective service? That should be what the argument, if there's going to be an argument, that's what it should be about. But unfortunately, in Washington, D.C., you don't have the luxury of having anyone bring a liberty-oriented position to the table for any of these discussions whatsoever.
As long as you continue to have these warmongers telling us all of these countries out there, all these other nations that hate us and want to kill us and come take our land from us, you're never going. We're surrounded by fearful people who believe. It's not just these politicians. The people actually believe that there are other countries who just want to kill us. And if you take away the draft, something bad might happen one day, and we won't have the means to actually defend ourselves. Which is crap, by the way, because if anyone ever attacked us, I mean, just think of 9/11. Just think of all the knuckleheads who are just coming out of the woodworks wanting to go join the military.
That's
you know,
true.
all the actors.
Weren't you in the military at that time?
And I had just gotten out. But no, all the actors and the football players, they're all, you know, swarming to get in there and supposedly defend us from the bad guys.
Yeah, and then that one, what was that football player got killed by his own guys?
It is
somebody? Tillman? Was it
Tillman?
Tillman?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. A lot of people suspect that maybe he wasn't pulling his load, or he was,
or that he was uncovering something.
Yeah, or he was questioning things, and they're like, no, shot in the back of the head.
Wow.
That's how you do it. By the way, kind of an unspoken theme is if you're in battle, and there's some clown who's going to get you killed, or he's not pulling his load, that guy doesn't come home. He gets taken care of.
It's called fragging, right?
It's, you know, accidents happen all the time. So, you know, and I'm sure there are plenty in recent times that didn't come home because friendly fire.
But it wouldn't be reported that way.
No.
Reported as he got the enemy took him out. Oh, what can you do?
He served his country well.
Yeah.
God bless him and God bless his family.
Wrap him in a flag.
He's
terrible.
a hero.
It's horrifying. So if you want to comment on the draft, you can do that. Our toll-free number, again, 855-450-3733. Story from Quartz or QZ.com about people using Facebook who don't realize they're on the internet. QZ.com reporting it was in Indonesia 3 years ago that Helani Galpaya first noticed the anomaly. Indonesians surveyed by Galpaya told her that they didn't use the internet, but in a focus group, they would talk enthusiastically about how much time they spent on Facebook. Galpaya, a researcher and now CEO with Learn Asia,
was stunned to realize that she's surrounded by idiots.
Called Rohan Samarjiva, her boss at the time, to tell him what she discovered. She said it seemed that in their minds, the internet did not exist, only Facebook. In Africa, Christoph Stork stumbled upon something similar. Looking at results from a survey on communications use for Research ICT Africa, Stork found what looked like an error. The number of people who had responded saying they used Facebook was much higher than those who said they used the internet. This discrepancy accounted for some 3 to 4% of mobile phone users, he said. Since at least 2013, Facebook has been making noises about connecting the entire world to the internet. But even Sheryl Sandberg, Facebook's operations head, admits that there are Facebook users who don't know they're on the internet. And I forget where it was, but I remember hearing about a tier of internet service here in the United States that would only give you access to Facebook. Or no, maybe that was in Africa. I'm sorry. That might have been our friend Akko who'd called in to tell us about that.
You just said it. Mobile phone users, and the way my phone is set up, it's just a bunch of apps.
Yep.
And I've got a YouTube app, I got a Facebook app, we use Telegram. All these apps are there, and yet if I didn't know any better, if say I got my parents a phone and hooked them up with a smartphone, hooked them up with a bunch of apps. I mean, they're not, my parents know about the internet, but I mean, they might start to lose touch with the internet access, because all they're doing is thumbing on an app that it seems like it's a whole third-party operation that's working on its own.
Yeah, I can see how people could be confused by that.
So in thinking about this, I'm thinking, I'm using an analogy to the old phone system. If you asked people if they use copper pairs on a day-to-day basis, at this time, they might have said no, because the internet, but that's how your telephone is brought to you. Your wired landline is brought to you is through copper pairs run to your house. Usually, you've got more than one pair that's run to your house. That way it's easy to hook up the fax machine or two-party line or whatever it is that they're going to do. The internet is infrastructure for the delivery of Facebook.
Yeah.
And the copper pairs are infrastructure for the delivery of telephone service, if that makes sense. So I guess I'm not – I guess the only thing I'm surprised is that people don't know that this is the delivery system for Facebook. But it's supposed to be seamless. It's supposed to be that people are having their experience on Facebook, and if
that's
they're,
it.
If they're mobile phone users, they're using an app in many cases rather than sort of the internet. They're not using the internet as I understood it.
And as long
15 years ago.
As long as the internet doesn't go down, then it's completely transparent and everything works, and there's no reason for anyone to really worry about those.
It's still kind of chuckle-worthy.
It is, and so is Facebook succeeding in its goal if the people it's connecting have no idea they're using the internet? And what does it mean if masses of first-time adopters come online, not via the open web, but the closed proprietary network where they must play by Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's rules? This is more than a matter of semantics. The expectations and behaviors of the next billion people to come online, because remember, half the world's population do not have access to the internet. So it's important to remember that there are a lot of billions in this world who do not get online on a even irregular basis.
About 3.5.
Yeah, they're out there collecting food. More important things.
Yeah, exactly. The expectations of those people will have profound effects on how the internet evolves. If the majority of the world's online population spends time on Facebook, then policymakers, businesses, startups, developers, nonprofits, publishers, and anyone else interested in communicating with them will also. If they are to be effective, go to Facebook. And that means they too must play by the rules of one company. And that has implications for us all. And I happen to agree with some of these concerns. Now, there are obviously alternatives to Facebook, right? There's Google+. How many of y'all in the studio have used Google+ in the last 6 months?
I believe I have an account, but just because I have a Gmail address. I think that's the only reason I have a Google account.
Mark,
but
I know what you mean by use.
I've never been on it.
I don't know what you mean by use. It
You've
kind of
logged in.
It kind of uses me every once in a while. Like, this person is now following you.
It'll send you an email, you mean?
Yeah.
That's not a
Yeah,
use.
I see the notifications all the time, but I don't think I've ever been on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't know why I don't like it. I think it's just because I'm used to Facebook. I don't think I dislike Google+. It's just like everybody else is on Facebook, so why do I want to bother duplicating what I already have? Okay,
yeah,
great.
You would have to duplicate if you really wanted to reach. Well, of course, if pretty much everyone is on Facebook, and there's very, very few people are actually boycotting it in favor of Google+. So, I mean,
well,
are
usually
you going to be out there duplicating every single one of your posts to make sure you reach everyone? That's nonsense.
There are tools you can use to make that easier, but all that said, let's continue the discussion. You can join us here with your Facebooking habits or frustrations. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Facebook is dominating the internet, but can they stay on top forever? It's Free Talk Live.
Are your kids spending too much time online? Are they gaming instead of doing homework? Are they on Facebook instead of sleeping? Turn their internet access on or off when you want for free at webcurfew.com. 100% web-based interface means nothing to download, install, or configure. Web Curfew is free and controls any device using your home network without slowing down your internet. Block all adult web content with the click of a button. Don't let the internet raise your kids. Take back control of how and when your home internet is used for free. Visit webcurfew.com. Blake developed BlakeDevelopment.net is a global leader in website creation, app development, and online marketing, catering to businesses of all sizes. There's really no job too big or too small for BlakeDevelopment.net. Do you have an idea for a killer app, but you don't know how to code it? Are you missing out on online sales? Or maybe your business needs help with social media? Websites start at just $200, and they're offering 3 years of free domain registry. Yes, they take Bitcoin. 844-SITE-123. BlakeDevelopment.net, 844-SITE-123.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. You can help by joining the AMP program for just $5 a month at amp.freetalklive.com and getting perks. That's amp.freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate it 5 stars, then share the link on social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm. That's apps.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You're invited here to join us toll free. 855-450-FREE is our number. 855-450-3733. In the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Mark.
And Mark, tell me where you're going in just over 2 weeks from today.
The Bitcoin Investor Conference in Vegas. It's at the D Hotel in downtown Las Vegas. That's, as far as I know, one of the few hotels in America that take Bitcoins.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, as I understand, you can't do gambling on the floor in Bitcoin, but I imagine that there's probably going to be some ways that you can take care of that. Nonetheless, it will be October the 29th and 30th. That's a Thursday and a Friday. And it's going to be some real excitement. Big speakers like Trace Mayer, Dr. Stephanie Murphy, Stephen Michaels is putting it on. He'll be speaking and emceeing with me. This is the first time we've done Free Talk Live from Las Vegas. Please come on out and enjoy the spectacle that is the Bitcoin Investor Conference and Free Talk Live. If you go to our Facebook page right now, we've pinned the post to the top where you can make a comment with a guess of a number between 1 and 1,000 to win tickets to the Bitcoin Investor Conference. I believe there's also if you go to news.freetalklive.com, there's another contest running on the email list. So there you go. You get the guess right, and you'll be available. You'll see a free ticket to the Bitcoin Investor Conference at the D Hotel in Las Vegas, happening at the end of this month. Only one guess per person is permitted, so make it count. Winners will be announced Wednesday, the 21st. So is that tomorrow? Yep,
Nope.
Sounds like it.
That's a week from now, the 21st.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So a week from tomorrow. There you go. So any day.
All right. What was it? Bitcoin Investor
Conference.com. Bitcoininvestor.com. That's
Bitcoininvestor.com.
website to go to register if you want to pay for your ticket.
October 29th and 30th. So it's coming up. We're talking about people using Facebook who don't realize that they're also using the internet. About 1 out of 10 Facebook users in Indonesia, apparently 11% of them, say they use Facebook but do not use the internet because they don't realize necessarily that Facebook is on the internet. And if you didn't really know what the internet was and someone handed you a phone and said, hey, you can talk to all your friends, and then, showed you this.
Just an app on a phone.
App, that doesn't mean anything to somebody who's sort of new to the idea of the internet. So there's the larger discussion here, though, just kind of about Facebook's dominance on the internet in general. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the Facebook is a huge chunk of the internet traffic out there. A huge chunk of it.
Huge.
Yeah. Google's big.
They call it half the internet, and they call Google the other half.
Yeah. Facebook's big. Netflix is actually pretty big, too, if you look at the actual data that's coming through.
Sure, they're putting
the
a lot
pipes.
of data through.
So there's all that. Now, it would be silly to extrapolate this to the entire population of Nigeria or Indonesia, but the survey does provide evidence of these behaviors. And there's a question here, how Facebook became the internet. At Davos this year, someone told the well-heeled crowd that in the developing world, people will walk into phone stores and say, I want Facebook. This is what they want. People... Go ahead.
You came to get a phone to talk to your people,
your friends,
your neighbors, your parents. No, I want Facebook.
Well, that is how you talk to your friends and your neighbors and your parents these days, unfortunately.
I very rarely ever talk on the phone. Everything is done through text or Gmail.
It's very millennial of you.
I hate it, man.
I hate what?
I just
talking
texting
on the phone or texting?
I like it when it's fine that people text me, but if I want to talk to them, I want to talk to them, and you better damn sure pick up your phone when I call. It just irritates the crap out of me, all this
You're
texting.
Too old for this texting.
It's so much work to text.
This has been a long process for me because I know when the texting crap first started, and for example, one of my sisters, she won't call you. She will only text you, and not just little text either, like you coming over or what. She'll whole
dissertations,
freaking conversations, and she wants me to respond.
Yeah, why is she scared of the phone? Because I have friends who are frightened to be on the phone, right? Like,
are they millennials?
You know what? I think that's a regular thing though, and not just millennials. I think just people in general. If they can get away with it, if they can have a conversation without actually looking in your eyes and and actually talking, you can sit in the comfort of your chair and you can think about what you're going to say and make sure it's all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed.
I wish they did dot their I's and cross their T's. Instead, I get this gobbledygook I don't even understand. I have to write back.
Autocorrect.
It's not even autocorrect. It's these abbreviations that I don't know.
So wait, who's sending you abbreviations? Gen Xers?
Sometimes
you gotta learn that.
Sometimes I don't know who it is. That's the abbreviations.
The abbreviations bother me too. I don't much care for that. But yeah, I mean,
we have a way to communicate. It's called English, and if you use it, people will understand what you mean. I find that these abbreviations, when dealing with someone that you have not spoken to and agreed with what these abbreviations mean, just increase the length of the conversation, not decrease it, thus making the abbreviation itself moot.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And I guess the abbreviations came about because of the old phones where you had to press the button 3 times to get to the letter that you wanted to.
It's all about character length. You only have a certain amount of.
And that.
Yeah.
That was the telegram of its day, right? Like you made a short little message because you basically paid by the letter by punching in those.
There was that too. I don't think you paid by the letter. I think you paid
I'm just
by
saying
the
that
text.
By the work that you had to put in for each letter. If you wanted to put in a full sentence on one of those little phones where you push the number
phones.
3 or 4 times to get what you were looking for. I mean, it was work to type in text. Now, even with the swipey thing that I have, I still don't like it. I'd rather talk on the phone.
You could purchase some of those little miniature thumb caps. Have you ever seen those? Because you got big old Craftsman thumbs over there. Big old.
I don't know if I go that far.
So the idea is these caps make it easier to type on your screen?
I don't know. I saw a meme. I saw a cartoon picture of little caps that you put on your. Yeah, they're little miniature thumbs. Because that's my problem. My thumbs are all over the place.
I got the Samsung Note, and it's big enough that I can touch the letters.
So people confuse the Facebook and the internet in some places, or as Iris Orris. That's her name, Iris Orris. Facebook's head of localization and internationalization has put it, awareness of the internet in developing countries is very limited. In fact, for many users, Facebook is the internet, as it's often the only accessible application. And yeah, I think it was Akko in Cameroon who did tell us that there's a certain tier of cheap internet access that only gives you Facebook. So I wonder how popular those plans are.
I'm thinking of another analogy, and that is console. I'm a gamer. Console users versus PC, and I cannot stand the console games. They're lower quality.
Okay.
You have less options, and as far as you were just talking about the phones that only have Facebook. Some of the consoles, and I don't know, I haven't really been following the PS3 and the new Xbox, but I mean, they have limited access to the internet.
Right.
And you can do all the same things on a PC and have something to word process on or to do other work on.
Oh, Conan!
For about the same
a purist.
amount.
He's a gaming purist.
When I played played console games, and I just preferred the interactivity of the handheld little gizmo thing. And
they have joysticks.
Well, you
can
get joysticks
sure
and controllers for the computer. The exact same. Shape and size, with the Xbox logo on it as well.
But there's also a lot more that can go wrong with a computer, and
not these days.
855-450 freeze our number. It's Free Talk Live.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com. If there was a place that liberty-minded people had been elected to political positions and were rolling back government, Would you move there? If freedom lovers had secured a 20% voting block and can veto most bad bills, would you move? Well, the time has come to sign the pledge at freestateproject.org. These things have happened in New Hampshire, and you can join us and help. freestateproject.org. Sign up now at freestateproject.org.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Conan, have you ever had the chance to use My Magic Mud?
I have not. I hear Mark talking about it all the time. I don't know. It's just I don't have problems with my teeth are good.
Well, you might be surprised. In fact, we actually have one over there for you in the corner of the room. If you don't mind, you should take one of those home and give it a try. It's pretty cool stuff. It's actually natural whitening tooth powder, and it's black.
Yeah.
So
they don't call it My Magic Mud for nothing.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive that you could put this black powder on your teeth.
It's charcoal.
Yeah, carbon
and bentonite clay.
But I know that charcoal use it as a filter.
Mm-hmm.
And I know
it binds to stuff.
I know you can use it as a cleaning agent.
So My Magic Mud has gone 2.0. We've talked about My Magic Mud in the past. They're back on Free Talk Live with a hygienic bamboo applicator now to easily dispense the mud under your tongue without having to dip your toothbrush onto the powder. Dozens of dentists are behind My Magic Mud, which has
a lot of people think that it's abrasive because of the charcoal aspect to it, and they've actually shown that it's less abrasive than your toothpaste.
So they've also been lab tested to ensure that it's safe for the enamel and not abrasive enough to do any harm, making it great for people with sensitivity issues. If you go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL, like Free Talk Live, you'll get a 20% discount as a thank you to you, the Free Talk Live listeners, and the Liberty community at large, who've been so supportive of them in the beginning. Because the people who've created My Magic Mud are Liberty people.
The mom, yep.
Yeah, they love. It's not just the mom, but she's got a whole
her
team.
Husband's helping. Yeah,
husband and other folks.
Now they
as well.
are. Yeah.
So you said they're rolling out to retail now too. So
That's
they
right.
Really expanded their operation. You get a 20% discount by using coupon code FTL. This is amazing product. Mark, you said that after 4 applications, your stains were gone from your teeth. Is that right?
In the first application, I noticed.
Because you're a coffee drinker.
Yeah, I am a coffee drinker, and I'm not stopping that anytime soon. But I noticed that. They called me about their stain remover, and I'm like, my life's fine, my teeth are fine, but send me your product, I'll try it. And obviously, you're more motivated when there's a check in the offing. So I put it on my toothbrush, and I went in and I kind of looked at my teeth. And my wife's got one of those, zoom in mirrors. That,
the 5X
with the light, with the lighting and that sort of thing. So I look at my teeth and I brush my teeth and I can see the difference. I can see that most of the stains have been removed. In 4 brushings, and I did them every day for the first 30 days, in 4 brushings, I had removed all the stains except for this sort of one that was right next to this weird ridge in my teeth that you don't have on one tooth that you don't have on your teeth. But it's just kind of a weird spot. And then I worked that out later once I realized I have a weird ridge, which I got figured out from looking. So, yeah, it absolutely worked in 4 applications.
MyMagicMud.com, coupon code FTL, get the 20% off. And Conan, you're going to give us some feedback with your experience.
I'll try it out. You know what? I just lost a filling like 2-3 days ago.
Just kind of fell out?
Fell out. A crack came out in like 3 pieces over the period of a week. And I think another piece just came out. I went and I had to go buy some of that temporary filling crap.
I'm not familiar with it.
I've applied it, and I paid like $3 for it. It's a little canister of like white putty.
Yeah, I'm not sure that this will help in any way with that, but yeah.
Oh, no, I put it in there. And
You're thinking about teeth, I guess.
It's good to go. I mean, it's holding in there. I'm wondering how long it'll last because,
You are cheap.
If it lasts a month, then I've got a whole little, container of this stuff.
So,
I mean, how much is a filling these days? I haven't been to the dentist in like 15 years.
I don't know, but I suppose there's probably good reason if you get some kind of food in there or something that it could be bad news.
Oh, it was definitely a hole in my tooth, and I just tonguing it the whole day.
So we were discussing gaming. We were originally talking about people using Facebook who don't know they're using the internet. It's something that happens more in developing countries. These are people who've never really had a lifelong experience with the internet like we have. They've just literally gotten the internet for the first time within the last few years. Or the last few months, depending on where they are. Our friend Akko, who is an occasional caller to the show from Cameroon, in the last year that we've been talking with Akko, he didn't have internet in his hometown, which was called Ndop, N-D-O-P, in Cameroon. He'd have to go to Bamenda, the big city, 40 kilometers away, in order to just simply get online.
Wow.
Now they've got 3G access in Ndop, and so there's a lot of people in these areas that have never had this experience before. So I want to get back into that. But Conan, you brought up the age-old argument of gaming systems and the video gamers, the game consoles, the PS3, the Xbox 360 or Xbox One, I guess is the
They're
newest
living
one.
in the past, Ian.
And then there's the computer gamers as well. And there's always been from the computer gamers sort of this look down your nose, hoity-toity mentality towards the console gamers. And I'm an all-around game player. And there's actually an argument against using the term gamer. We're people who play video games. What does it even mean to be a gamer?
I think everybody is these days. I mean, when you start figuring anybody who's playing Tetris or Bloons or any of the what do you call the Flash games?
Yeah.
On up to everybody games anymore.
I think a gamer is someone who is competitive about it. It's not just playing Bejeweled while you're taking a dump, or it's not you're farming Farm City whatever crap on your Facebook, on your lunch break. I mean, gamers are competitive, and I think they're more likely to play online games against other gamers.
Yeah, and they're more likely to sort of absorb this kind of mentality or this identity of a gamer, that's what they are, that they are a gamer. So I don't really much like using that term, but I like what you point out, Mark, that everybody plays these things. So I think a gamer is someone who's more likely to look down their nose, like even if they're a video gamer or a computer gamer, they have their preference, sort of like back in the day when we were growing up, Conan, it was Nintendo versus Sega.
It was started with Atari 2600 versus Commodore.
That's way, way back. That's even before my time.
And so then, Nintendo, Sega, and that was it.
That was pretty much it.
There were a couple others, but those are the big names.
And so now you've got this discussion here that we were having. There's the PC gaming is a little more complicated, and of course that's why I think a lot of the PC gamers feel superior to the console gamer, because the console gamer just simply pops a disc in the machine or downloads the game and then they're off running. With a computer, sometimes you run into issues. There's drivers that you have to have. They've got to be updated.
10 years ago it was more difficult. Now you can buy a laptop for $300-$400, which is just ready and and everything's already installed, and you can get something like Steam and you start up an account, and all your games are digitized, so you just punch a button and
more often
everything's
than not,
done for you.
Yeah, more often
drivers,
than not, it's going to work.
I haven't installed a driver in forever.
Really? Okay.
No, they're all there.
There's still issues, man. I mean, there's still games that come out on the PC that there has to be updates for the graphics drivers to make those games look right, or there's like bugs in the game.
Well, what about the connectivity between the controller and the computer? So you get this third-party controller thing.
You have to set those up usually. There's usually a setup process you have to run through to get the controller working with the game, and what if the controller doesn't have the right buttons or whatever. There's some issues that you can run into, and it's also more expensive to.
But you could do
gaming.
so much more on it.
It's true. You can. The games will look better in a lot of cases if you have the right hardware.
Yes, we're all morons.
The games will look better on the computer generally if you have better hardware than what's inside your PlayStation or your Xbox, and that's something you can do with a computer system. But it's also more expensive.
And then you have mods. You don't.
Yeah, that's true.
You never have mods on consoles. You don't get any of that nice stuff. So you got a whole community of gamers out there who are, creating more content for your purchase, and that's just
What's your game, Conan? What are you currently playing or just recently finished?
Right now, I'm playing a game called Styx. STYX.
Like the band?
It is what The Last Thief should have been. It's a sneak and
one of those sneaky games.
It's a sneaky game.
Those are fun.
I got no use for that. I remember the one.
You just want to run in blasting, huh?
Metal Gear Solid, but I do appreciate your input, Domo Arigato.
855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733, Facebook. Apparently, some people think it's the internet. You can talk about that or gaming or whatever it is that is on your mind here tonight on Free Talk Live.
If you expect secure, privacy-oriented services and real human support from your web hosting provider, choose Virtual Space International. From domain names and SSL certificates to offshore banking accounts, Virtual Space International has been the all-in-one, multi-language solution for over 25 years. And satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. We even accept Bitcoin. Find out how to get 50% off for life at SaveTimeHosting.com.
As a pioneer of the e-commerce movement, Overstock.com is proud to be the first major retailer to accept Bitcoin. Overstock was the first because Patrick Byrne, Overstock's CEO and founder, firmly believes in personal freedom and cryptocurrency. Over the past 16 years, Overstock has furnished over 18 million homes with a diverse line of products to suit everyone's unique styles and preferences. Support Overstock and freedom of choice while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at PatriotNecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
PatriotNecklace.com?
PatriotNecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from PatriotNecklace.com.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the most affordable body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. Why would you go anywhere else? KD offers soft armor and rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free water purification kit for a limited time with any body armor package. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI Armor.com. Come and take it.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice, and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can watch the LRN Studio Cam and chat with other listeners anytime at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Join us right here, toll free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live t-shirts back online. You can finally get them again after years of being unable to order these things online. You can now get brand new shirts. Actually, you can pre-order them before October 31st. There's the Free Talk Live logo shirt and also one that says Taxes are theft emblazoned across the front and then with the Free Talk Live logo on the back. So you can go to gear.freetalklive.com, gear.freetalklive.com, and there are different cuts of the shirts available, including ladies' cut shirts. So gear.freetalklive.com is where to go to do that. Let's go to Skype. Actually, we're not going to Skype because that guy hung up. No, he didn't. Now he's back. It's Nathan listening in Texas. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Nathan.
Hey, guys.
Actually,
I really like the thing about the segment.
Hang on.
About
The CNN debate is yammering in the background here. Let me put that to rest. All right, go ahead, Nathan.
Okay, cool. Well, first I want to say I can really appreciate all the stuff about the texting. I'm all thumbs too, Conan.
You're all thumbs. Okay.
Hard to text.
Well, I don't have big old blacksmith thumbs. I don't know. Maybe my I have a rinky-dink phone, and the last one I had. You can go in there and you can actually fine-tune the keyboard.
Huh.
And on this one, my thumbs are all over the place.
I never use my thumbs. I only use one finger to
swipe
to text, and I use Swipe, which is a program. There are other programs that are similar to it, but you essentially trace over the letters quickly, and it figures out the words for you. It's pretty cool, and it does a pretty good job of it, I would say. Anyway, go ahead, Nathan.
So I'm holding the book in my hands about the RK theory that I called in last time about.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. I was really glad that you brought that up last week.
What is it? RK theory for our listeners just tuning in.
Spent a bunch of hours last week researching it, and then got super depressed afterwards because I realized how crap society is. But go ahead.
I know okay, so actually thought of it because you brought up competitive gaming, and that made me think of the topic. So It is a theory which applies in biology to nature, that there are two basic reproductive strategies. The K strategy, which involves having a small number of offspring and investing highly, and the R strategy that involves having much more offspring with minimal investment. And the substance of the RK theory is that these different strategies in nature result in different psychologies in people. And a lot of the book is spent arguing that certain, brain regions or whatever contribute to these differences in people. And so, for example, conservatives are Ks because they're more in-group loyal, they're more competitive, and liberals fall on the R spectrum where, there's less emphasis on children's well-being and more emphasis on sort of avoiding competition.
But what about libertarians? They're not liberal or conservative.
And liberals use their excuse for everything is, what about the children?
Well, exactly. So what they're doing is they're trying to appeal to your K loyalty to your children. They're saying, "Oh, look, these children! You have to give me welfare because of the children." And of course, Ks are suckers for that.
And one thing I see, so I watched the Molyneux. Can I say, are we allowed to talk about Molyneux on this program?
No, why not?
We're not like boycotting him or anything, are we?
No, I'm not boycotting him. I just I don't put him on LRN.FM anymore.
I thought he did a fine job of introducing this. He did three episodes. And
I spent most of my reading the book itself, Conan, not listening to Molyneux, but he did introduce the topic. So full disclosure.
Okay, so what were you calling about regarding this?
Well, I wanted to just talk about the competitive aspect since Conan brought that up, and we're going to have the Democratic debate in 20 minutes or whatever. So in humans, the idea here is that the Ks or the conservatives would be more competitive, would be more, I guess, martial, you might say, and that liberals would be less competitive or less prone or less open to conflict. And
everyone gets a trophy.
Right, and
if you say things I don't like, you're making me uncomfortable.
Especially if you're not standing in the free speech box, Mark.
You better just go away. You're making me uncomfortable. That's threatening.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one of the big pluses of this theory, which it's almost like a Marxism from the right, because like one of Marx's big things was demonizing capitalists by making them look weak and foolish. And this theory sort of does the same thing for conservatives. It makes the opposite of conservatism look weak and foolish. So, trigger warnings and, Black Lives Matter, interrupting, and all that kind of stuff. But once you really get into this theory, and I don't know, tell me if this is true for you, Conan, you start to sort of see it everywhere. And then politics kind of becomes boring.
That's exactly what happened to me. So I've been reading and watching all this week, and I'm super depressed. Now I feel like there's no help for society.
Why? What do you mean? Why are you?
We're surrounded by. Well, here's the thing, because they keep saying right versus left, and I don't see right versus left. I see left and right as the same type of people. They just have different
nuances,
ideologies,
concerns.
I see them as both big government statists,
right?
And then you got me, and they're both against me. They're both my enemy. I can't agree with any of them. They both want to take my privileges, my rights from me, because they know better than I do.
That's because you're like a libertarian bear. You just want to be left alone, do your own thing, survive on your own merit. And, you see the wolves and the rabbits below you trying to duke it out and get the state to support, whatever their policies are. And that's what I meant before by saying that politics is sort of boring once you learn this theory. Because a lot of issues, for a libertarian, you say, oh, well, they just want to use the state to impose their way. It's the same thing, except now I see that, the conservatives or Ks, they just want the state to impose, modesty for women, or they want to limit abortions, or whatever the thing is. It's to, enforce the K strategy, and the same thing for liberals. They want the state to redistribute income, which was what I was getting at with my...
Right, they're trying to survive by keeping their gene set alive and producing. And so, and they're both enemies of each other, and they don't want the other to outdo them, outproduce them, and so they're going to do everything in their power to get more of their genes out there. It's
Many libertarians I've spoken to, many of them are sort of basically anti-reproduction, period.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just don't like the idea of reproduction.
I'm one of them. I don't like it.
Yeah, because children are a drag on what you're doing. They've got all kinds of story around how kids are going to ruin their lives. But whatever.
I can't imagine having a kid.
Yeah, if you're all about personal responsibility, the last thing you want to do is bring a burden into this world that's going to keep you down for the next 20 years.
Yeah. Of course, Ian, who says all these things, has a dog that is, that he has to take care of on a day-to-day basis.
It's true, and that's
take her
enough.
out and walk her and do all these things, and it brings a great deal of joy to him. But at the same time, she costs him money, and she requires a certain amount of adulthood from him. That's beside the point. I'm not here to convince anybody to have children that doesn't want to have them. For God's sakes, I do not want to do that to a child, is to have Ian as its father. But what I'm saying here is maybe this is true, and that libertarians don't fit in the paradigm because they don't have a reproductive strategy. Their reproductive strategy is null, and so they're not on this paradigm. Because I can tell you, probably as many libertarians as I've talked to don't want to have children, like half of them at the very least.
Well, if I didn't have mine when I was really, really young and liberal and probably more of an R, because by the way, you can change it up. Some people, you can be both, and you can adapt to the other. Some people can't. They're just stuck in their paradigm forever. But yeah, if I didn't have my child as young as I did, I probably wouldn't ever have kids. I'm probably never going to have kids again.
I probably wouldn't have had a kid if it wasn't been for my wife, who is, certainly not, not a libertarian in the sense that she chose this for herself. I wouldn't have had a child. She really, really, really wanted one, and the relationship isn't going to work if somebody wants a kid and the other person doesn't want a kid. Somebody has to give.
Got to give a little.
Nathan, what does this mean for libertarians? I mean, we're not conservatives, we're not liberals, so why are we even talking about it?
Well, it's a great way to understand politics, and I think it also, if you think of yourself as a bear, it makes a lot more sense because you're
a bear.
Because you still have huge claws, you still want to defend yourself.
Oh, I thought you meant like a gay man who is really hairy and big. Sorry.
Maybe he does.
Maybe that too, but you still want to defend yourself, still want to be competitive, but you don't want to, bears don't have a lot of kids either, but they're also not, pansy liberal rabbits who are just out for themselves either. I mean, you can have legitimate.
Everybody's out for themselves. All the conservatives and liberals are out for themselves. Everyone is.
Yeah, but their strategy is different.
Okay.
A bear's clearly a K by your
just look at
methods.
the whole all right, so you got Trump and Bernie. They're like they're on the extreme edges of right and left. Okay. And they're just, I think they're prime examples of what the parties really are. Trump is all about throw the immigrants out, support the big companies, and Bernie's all like free stuff, free everything.
Our toll-free number, thanks, Nathan, for your call tonight. RK, it's all very confusing to me. I'm not sure which one is which yet, even though I've talked about it more than once. 855-450-3733, and you can join us here on Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 coming up.
When the most powerful and destructive witch in 13th century France chooses a successor, her frightened young protege, Liana, escapes into the wild. Pursued by witch hunters, the town watch, and her mistress, Liana's only hope is a pair of newly returned crusaders, one with PTSD, the other a complete rascal. The Witch's Hand by Wendy Joseph is a cut above the usual sword and sorcery fare. Available now at your favorite booksellers or visit wendyjosephwrites.com. If worst comes to worst, will you be prepared? You don't have to be a survivalist to prepare for the unexpected. Storing necessary supplies like food, water, and emergency equipment is simply taking responsibility for ourselves and our families when it counts the most. StrategicShelters.com offers emergency supplies and a secure way to store them, and provides protection for loved ones in the event of an extreme natural or man-made disaster. To find out more, visit StrategicShelters.com.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
You can listen to Free Talk Live on the radio, podcast, satellite, webcam, and our live streams. But did you know you can listen to Free Talk Live from any phone, anywhere? Add this number to your phone, 213-493-0308. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The listen lines are airing the latest episode of Free Talk Live 24 hours a day, including our live shows. Call 213-493-0308. That's 213-493-0308.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, October 13th, 2015. Silver is trading at $15.85 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,159 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $251. Antiwar.com reports Syria's largest Kurdish militia, the People's Protection Unit, YPG, have announced they are joining a new rebel faction initially dubbed the Syrian Arab Coalition, but subsequently renamed the Democratic Forces now that they are dominated by a Kurdish faction. The faction includes a handful of smaller Arab tribal militias along with an Assyrian Christian faction. The group is said to be made up of about 3,200 fighters overall, though this is likely primarily the YPG itself who controls significant territory in the Hasakah province. Ironically, the YPG's main city, Hasakah, is co-defended by it and the Syrian government, so its ties to the rebellion in general are unclear. The promise of a massive influx of U.S. weapons into this new faction, however, likely was sufficient to get them on board. U.S. military officials were quoted as saying they were going to provide fresh weapons to the new faction and get them to attack Raqqa, the capital of the Islamic State Caliphate. The rebels have expressed confidence that they could capture the city in less than 2 months if given enough weaponry, though most U.S. efforts to arm rebels have ended up with the Islamic State coming out even stronger at the end and with a bunch of new U.S.-made weapons. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports a Gallup poll released Monday indicates 40% of surveyed Republicans now favor a single party controlling the Congress and the White House, up from 24% last year. 43% of Democrats agree, a figure similar to the 47% revealed in 2015. Independents this year are more likely than last year to say it makes no difference whether the president and Congress are the same party, 45% this year compared to 39% last year. The change among Republicans can be attributed to the 2014 elections, in which the party gained control of the U.S. Senate to control both houses of Congress. The 2016 presidential campaign could have also led Republicans to believe a member of their party should sit in the Oval Office. Gallup noted that historically the party controlling the White House tends to favor one-party control over the legislative branch of government. 24% of respondents this year, irrespective of party, prefer a divided government, a figure consistent with polls over the last 12 years. For over 35 years, Robertson Roberts has been a trusted source for buying and selling your investment-grade precious metals. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and permanently removed the minimum purchase order for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on investing and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 850-478-5270 or online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the Washington Post on Monday announced the conviction in Iran of the newspaper's U.S.-born Tehran correspondent Jason Rezaian in an espionage case as an outrageous injustice and urged Iranian leaders to overturn it. The case is a sensitive issue in Washington's contentious relationship with Tehran, and it played out as the United States and other major powers forged a deal in July with Iran to curb its nuclear program in return for relief from sanctions. Washington Post executive editor Martin Barron said the verdict against Rezaian was indefensible and that no sentence had been announced. Barron said the guilty verdict announced by Iran in the trial of Jason Rezaian represents an outrageous injustice. Iran has behaved unconscionably throughout the case. The contemptible end to this justice process leaves Iran's senior leaders with an obligation to right this grievous wrong. The Iranian government accused Rezaian of collecting confidential information and giving it to hostile governments, writing a letter to U.S. President Barack Obama, and acting against national security. A watchdog group, the International Campaign for Human Rights in Iran, said Rezaian's trial, which concluded in August, was a judicial farce and challenged Iranian President Hassan Rouhani to correct it. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Could dropping bombs on Afghans without warning from terrifying robot airplanes that fly themselves actually hurt America's efforts to stabilize Afghanistan?
It's complicated. No, not at all. Actually, I think we need to stay the course. You don't change horses midstream, and you don't stop firing missiles from unseen death droids soaring high above the clouds just because a couple of schools get blown up.
We have got to find another way to obliterate this population.
What about flaming bulldozers or 50-foot tall tanks?
Let's do what we can for these civilians. I mean, why not name the drones Billy or Steve to make them seem less dispassionate?
That is a terrible idea. Billy is a horrible name for a drone.
They're now developing a 40-foot robot that actually looks more like an American soldier and also sprays lasers out of his eyes.
Well, at least that's a step forward.
Hey, look, as long as it fires missiles and bombs with very little accuracy and 0 Americans are at threat, I'm all for it.
Good point.
They should give it funny, floppy arms.
Yes.
Oh, it should spray candy out of its chest a few minutes before it starts shooting everything.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
And Conan.
And Mark.
And the presidential debate is on right now. I'm trying to pull up some sort of internet feed for it, but for whatever reason, it's this feed is like a half an hour behind. So the one that I'm watching is not really up to date, so couldn't really tell you what's happening. Sometimes it's fun to pull up the audio feeds of stuff like this.
Heckle them?
Yeah, just kind of heckle and comment on whatever nonsense it is that.
Or play drinking games.
I've got the drinking game right here.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. What is the Democratic debate drinking game? I imagine there were rules for the Republican debate drinking game as well.
Yeah, we did do that. Do those. We're an equal opportunity heckler here on Free Talk Live. Got no problem with it. So the rules are: this is just a meme on Facebook, but it's fun. You must drink each time a candidate. You're going to be S-faced if you do this. I recommend a small sip when you hear these terms. So it says the rich, but then for number 7 it says tax cuts for the rich. So, if they say the rich, then you've got to drink. Well, do you have to drink twice because they say tax cuts for the rich? And so the rich is included? I don't know. That was the only thing I really wondered about it. But number 1, if they say the rich. Number 2, if they say income inequality. Number 3, Wall Street. Now, these have quotation marks in them, so these terms have to follow each other, not just just general terms. They have to say Wall Street. They have to say climate change. They have to say reproductive health, because they're not going to say abortion, right? They're not going to say global warming, because these are the buzzwords. This is how things are different between the two parties, is just the terminology that they use. Number 6, common sense gun laws.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to say the Second Amendment. They're not going to say that at all. Number 8, endless wars. I don't see how Hillary Clinton could possibly say endless wars.
I don't see how any of these two. Who are on? Bernie and Hillary. That's it.
Yeah, the burn.
I don't know. I mean, the stage preview picture that they have here has multiple podiums. I presume just those two, but
you got it pulled up. You don't even know who's debating.
No, I can't. It's not showing it. So, okay, so the okay.
Let me Google that for you.
I've got the CNN site on. There's something that they call CNN Go.
Debating tonight.
Yeah, Mark. I'm on CNN's site. CNN's hosting the debate, but the thing is, because they're so old, this old media company, they don't actually let you watch their channel. You can't see their debate that they're hosting.
Here, I'll let you know. It's Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, Martin O'Malley, Jim Webb, and Lincoln Chafee.
Yeah, so
all you have to do is type in your question to this search engine. It's called Google. And this is true for everybody who's listening to me. Stop asking human beings questions because they're stupid and they can't answer you properly. If they do give you an answer, there's a high probability that the answer is wrong. Go to the internet and ask, because it's much more likely to give you a better answer.
Get on your phone and text your family.
Yes.
They'll know.
You are now a super genius. All you have to do is type it into your phone. Stop taking people's word for things.
So the CNN coverage here is basically not. Oh wait, now they're streaming. I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's saying I'm previewing.
It's user error.
I don't know, Mark. I'm really confused by it right now. There does appear to actually be the stream coming through now, but for a while it wasn't coming through at all, and there's some man who's on the stage who I don't recognize.
I'll just wait another hour and someone will have it on YouTube.
Here, let's see what he's yammering about.
In the last 15 years of people working together, and the vast majority of them were young and poor and black. It wasn't easy on any day, but we saved lives and we gave our city a better future, improving police and community relations every single day that I was in office.
In 1 year alone,
the question is, why should Americans trust O'Malley to run the country given the problems in Baltimore, a city he once ran? So this must be O'Malley who is talking.
100,000 arrests were made in your city, a city of 640,000 people. The ACLU, the NAACP sued you, sued the city, and the city actually settled, saying a lot of those arrests were without probable cause.
Well, I think the key word in your follow-up there was the word settled. That's true, that was settled. Arrests peaked in 2003, Anderson, but they declined every year after that as we restored peace in our poorer neighborhoods so that people could actually walk and not have to worry about their...
There's peace in Baltimore.
There's peace in Baltimore. Wow, that's great.
Restored peace.
I think we moved to the wrong state.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. That's our little check-in there with the Democratic debate. Apparently, this guy is the governor or former governor of Maryland or something like that.
I don't remember. I didn't hear one of the words that I'd have to drink on.
No, he did not use any of the buzzwords. Maybe he saw that meme before he went on stage, and he says, "He's
trying to keep America sober."
Yeah, exactly.
We'll check back in with that here in a little bit. In the last hour, we were discussing a kind of a shocking story, I think, for a lot of people, that people on the internet don't necessarily realize they're on the internet. In developing countries of the world, in fact, there was a question in a survey of people in Nigeria, Indonesia, India, and Brazil, as well as the United States. And the question was the percentage of respondents who agree with the following statement. Do you agree with this statement? Facebook is the internet. In Nigeria, 65% agreed with that statement. Indonesia, 61%. India, 58%. Brazil, 55%. In the United States, only 5% agreed with that statement. And this really has to do with the fact that people are... in these developing countries, they're new to the internet. They don't know the internet. They didn't grow up with it.
Probably new to electricity.
A lot of them are. It's true. So they didn't grow up with it. They don't intimately know it like the rest of us here in the developed world do. And so basically, there are people in these countries who only use Facebook. That's their thing. That's what they do. That's what they ask for when they go into the cell phone store. They say, "I want Facebook on my phone. I want a phone and I want Facebook." Facebook is often the only accessible application, as Iris Orris puts it, the head of localization for Facebook, because Facebook, which didn't respond to requests to comment on the story, has worked to ensure that it is the easiest and the cheapest to access. The company backs Internet.org, an initiative to supposedly bring the internet to the 2/3 of the world's population that doesn't have it. Yet Internet.org's Showpiece, an app now available in nearly half a dozen countries, provides free access only to...
maybe the developing world?
Facebook.
Okay.
It only provides Facebook access, and also Facebook Messenger, and a handful of other services. And the precise lineup varies by country. So again, Facebook is backing Internet.org, which is ostensibly
just providing Facebook
to provide internet access to developing countries, but they're pushing, obviously, Facebook first and foremost over that internet service.
You know how they're pushing for Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi? They're doing it in our city. I'm sure they're doing it all over.
They're doing it here?
Oh, yeah. They're looking into it.
Interesting.
Okay. I'm wondering how much longer until Facebook becomes a right.
The right to Facebook. Oh, my God.
Well, yeah, this was a claim made by, I think, a guy that would probably self-identify as a socialist right here on the show, is that as the world develops, people's demands get higher for what they expect from their government over time. Think electricity, water, things like this, and that, this is basically just fine. This is the evolution of what it is they, what humans do.
Yeah,
Now, I would say that if you can't afford electricity provided to you in the marketplace, then perhaps you don't merit electricity yet, and using your vote to force other people to subsidize your electricity is a form of violence.
But that same socialist legislator would say, Mark, if that guy doesn't have Facebook, the guy without electricity, the guy can't afford to pay electricity, if he doesn't have Facebook, if he's not able to communicate, then he's never going to be able to get out of that hole that he's in. He needs Facebook to get him out of the hole. He needs free food and free housing, and we need to wipe his butt for him and the whole nine.
I believe Facebook is making sure that he's provided with Facebook.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that companies will make sure that you get what you need. Now, let's not forget that Mark Zuckerberg learned a very strong lesson by giving, what was it, $100 million to a New Jersey school district? Was it Camden, New Jersey? I'm not sure which one it is.
What's this
about? But he gave $100 million to a school district to kind of shape up. Turns out what they did was strengthen their bureaucracy, and there's still a bunch of F-ups.
Wow, shocking.
So, what a surprise.
So, what else can you get on this internet.org that Facebook is providing to the developing world? There are a few other services that you can get besides Facebook and Facebook Messenger.
Netflix.
But what else is there? 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Is Facebook going to become Skynet?
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
My name is Bill Bonner, and I'm the president of the largest private news and research network in the world. And I paid for this airtime because I have an important message to the American people. There's a change coming that the government isn't telling you about. This change has deep implications for life in America, from where you shop to the doctors you visit and the family you want to protect. Look, I've made predictions like this before. Thing is, I was right then too. A few years ago, I warned that housing prices would collapse. They did. Before that, I warned that .com companies would crash. They did. Those who listened had a chance to save themselves. But this has nothing to do with the stock market. This will affect us all.
You can watch the video for free right now by going to disappearingwealth.com. Again, that's disappearingwealth.com.
Keenvention is coming up fast, October 30th through November 1st. Get your tickets now at keenvention.info. Keenvention is an intimate event where you can meet dozens of key liberty activists from across the Shire, including Oathkeeper Chris Reitman, Libertarian presidential candidate Daryl W. Perry, illegal Uber driver Christopher David, Neocash Radio's Dr. Darren Tapp, State Representative Mike Sylvia, rated an A+ by the NHLA, the Seditious Sirens, the Rebel Love Show's Rob Mathias, tech guru Brian Sovereign, cop blocker J.P. Freeman, new mover Dr. Taryn Lupo, longtime political activist Dennis Goddard, Church of the Invisible Hand minister Rich Paul, Shire Dude, and dozens more. Only 100 tickets are available in advance, so lock yours in now for just $60 or with Bitcoin. That includes access to the Halloween costume dance party. Reserve your tickets now at keenvention.info. Visit keenvention.info for more speaker announcements, or look for our page and event on Facebook. That's keenvention.info. Did you know that you can listen to and watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cam at cam.freetalklive.com? Not only that, but you can also chat with other listeners at the same time. Do I need to mention that both the studio cam and chat room are totally free? Outside of Free Talk Live's live hours, you won't see a cam feed, but will hear audio from the Liberty Radio Network. So listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Tuesday, gold is $7 lower at $1,163 per ounce. Silver is up 6 cents at $15.95 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $250 US. Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been helping clients with buying and selling precious metals for nearly 40 years. Give us a call today, 800-874-9760, or visit us online at rrbi.co.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You may join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Is Facebook doing something good here by providing internet access to people all around the globe? Sounds good on its face, but turns out they're actually really just providing Facebook access and a few other services. We'll share those with you here in moments, and you can share your thoughts with us. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. And you need access to the wider internet if you truly want to have an enriching experience on the web, including being able to order wonderful products and services, which you certainly cannot do through Facebook. Facebook will let you buy their advertising product, but I question the validity or how useful that particular service is. Now, something that is useful to advertise yourself is a business card. Yeah, it's old school, a piece of paper, but
gotta have it.
You put that in somebody's hand, it gets your name, it gets your contact information in front of that person in a way that you just can't do with these online social networking sites. Problem is with business cards, through most of the people that'll provide them to you, it's going to cost you. At Vistaprint, however, you can get 500 business cards for just $9.99, and that's the starting price. There's obviously upgrades and things like that you can do to them, like for instance, you want a fancy metallic finish. That's going to cost you a little bit more, but you can get some really nice business cards for starting at just $9.99, and 500 of them when you use coupon code FTL. That's FTL like Free Talk Live. It's Vistaprint. They offer an amazing customer service experience. They guarantee you'll love your products every time, or they'll make it right. And you can use their easy-to-use online tool to design your cards. Upload your own logo to their existing designs or completely customize your design. You can customize text, colors, backsides, or just upload your entire graphic. Maybe you've done your own design on your own, or you've got some graphics pro that's helped you with that.
Yeah, and this for $10, basically for 500 business cards. This doesn't have to be your main business. This can be some side project you're working on, or club, or maybe you do refereeing for the softball league, or whatever it is.
Maybe you're an Uber driver.
Yeah, well, something little. You can have the $10. You have 500 business cards.
Yeah, so go there to Vistaprint.com, use code FTL to get that discount, and create and design your custom business cards tonight. That's Vistaprint.com with code FTL like Free Talk Live. Oh, hey, let's check in on the debate. Hillary Clinton's on the stage.
Soldiers in Afghanistan. There's no doubt that when Putin came back in and said he was going to be president, that did change the relationship. We have to stand up to his bullying, and specifically in Syria, it is important, and I applaud the administration because they are engaged in talks right now with the Russians to make it clear that they've got to be part of the solution to try to end that bloody conflict and to provide safe zones so that people are not going to have to be flooding out of Syria at the rate they are. And I think it's important, too, that the United States make it very clear to Putin that it's not acceptable for him to be in Syria creating more chaos.
Not acceptable.
It's not acceptable for him to do our job or to kill all of our CIA terrorists.
Not acceptable. Now, if it wasn't acceptable, that would mean that would kind of possibly bring more conflict, right? Like if they mess with Putin, then that could kick off a war between Russia and the United States, couldn't it?
I think that what Clinton has to do here is she has to show Putin, in this debate that she is not the pushover that Obama is.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, Putin doesn't have, the fear that Obama's going to do something terrifying to him, and it appears to be right. The Russian military isn't nearly as strong as the U.S. military, but the strong military is the one that's being employed, and the U.S. military is not being employed in this circumstance. I'm not advocating for that in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that I think that's what she's doing. She's giving this answer not for – because the war hawks are never going to say, you know who we need? We need Hillary Clinton. People will really respect her. They're not going to say that. I mean, if it's going to be whatever the Republican candidate is the one that they're it'd be a really strange debate with Rand Paul, say, against Hillary Clinton, because she certainly has the track record of being more pro-war than he does. That would be kind of interesting to see, but it's likely the military-industrial complex usually backs the Republican.
Well, that's not true. The military-industrial complex backs both the Republicans and the Democrats, and they have for a long time.
I guess the war hawks, the chicken hawks out there that are ready to fight a war.
They're gonna back both sides, but they probably want, in their heart of hearts, a Republican in the presidential seat, because that character is probably more likely to go to war.
Well, of course, Barack Obama's been warring the entire time, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he hasn't been if you look at how many servicemen and women and how much equipment has been blown up under Obama versus under Bush.
Or left.
I would suspect what you see is – because if I was a military-industrial complex supplier, what I want to do is I want to see stuff blown up, equipment blown apart so that I can then provide new equipment. You want the old stuff broken so that you can provide new stuff. If there happen to be a bunch of servicemen and women that get blown up in the process, that doesn't really confront me. What I'm interested in is selling stuff. So I would say that if you compared the poundage of equipment destroyed under Obama versus the poundage under Bush, that you'd probably find significantly more under Bush.
So back to the story on – we'll check in with a debate here in a little bit. Back to the story on Facebook providing people with internet access. They have their internet.org, which is sort of put out there as almost a charitable effort by Facebook. At least that's the way we're
providing internet to the people around the world.
Yeah,
nice guys.
And that's fine. That's good. I mean, if somebody doesn't have internet and Facebook gives them something, I guess that's okay. It's better than nothing at all to be able to network with people and all that. But ultimately, it's not real internet if you can't get on the internet. And according to the story here at QZ.com, besides Facebook and Facebook Messenger, which is, again, this is a free service for the people that are using it, they also only just provide a handful of other services, which the precise lineup varies by country. But QZ says that most of the other services are well-meaning and related to development, women's rights, jobs, maternal health information, and Ebola frequently asked questions. The only concessions to the wider web, however, are Wikipedia and Google search. However,
really, they let Google search in.
But clicking through on the Google search requires a data plan, which must be paid for by the user. Despite the name, Internet.org is not a nonprofit concern, but very much a part of Facebook Incorporated. Telecom operators across the developing world also contribute to the confusion that people have, because a lot of people in these developing countries don't see the difference between Internet and Facebook. Many of them believe Facebook is the Internet. They contribute to the confusion, though it's something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Mobile web users spend a lot of time on Facebook and WhatsApp, which is apparently also owned by Facebook. I don't know what that is.
I remember I remember when it was picked up maybe a year and a half ago or something like that, but I can't remember what it is.
How are they accessing Facebook without a data plan?
They have a phone, basically, that gets on Facebook.
lets them.
That's it. That's their internet service provider. Facebook is providing them with internet.
Through the phone, but so it's like they are accessing data, but it's not data that they can use.
It's restricted,
right? So they can't get on Google and do a search unless they upgrade their plan.
Right? They can search through Google. They just can't go to any of the links unless they upgrade the plan.
Well, I wouldn't mind them doing that here in the States. Yeah, maybe I have a phone and the only thing I want to do on it is access Facebook, and I'll pay for a lower service.
Mobile networks see this and offer these customers social-only plans. In India, you can get a Facebook-only data plan for $2.50 a year. There's more.
It's pretty cheap.
Free Talk Live.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to produce an endless supply of nano-sized silver solutions right from the convenience of your home. Silver Lungs. With the addition of our unique lung delivery system, respiratory infections are targeted directly, where traditional oral administration simply cannot reach. This pioneering method also preserves the original particle sizes and delivers your silver solution directly into the bloodstream. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at silverlungs.com. That's silverlungs.com.
Inclement weather prevents a liar from getting to work, and a lunchbox is mostly medication. Sources across the nation impatiently reported today that the 24-hour news cycle seemed to be taking forever, telling reporters that the continuous coverage from MSNBC, CNN, and other news sources was simply not continuous enough. Frustrated Americans demanded more panel coverage, around-the-clock bulletins, and breaking reactions from Twitter.
It's like, sure, I have 5 channels of unending news updates constantly flooding my screen, but each one of those only has one slow-moving news ticker. Why not 3 or 4 running at triple speed? Honestly, these networks need to understand that I can't just wait around all day for minute-by-minute coverage.
And in this week's science news, a new report finds that lake ice grows safer to venture out on with each beer consumed. In other news, the beauty industry announces a new initiative to make women self-conscious about their palms. A beautiful cinnamon bun is too good for this world, too pure. And a picky eater is 38.
This is the Onion News Network.
If you want to move to the free state and you're looking for some real estate.
Oof, I think we've all had enough of that jingle, don't you? If you're going to invest in property in New Hampshire, it just makes sense to support a Liberty-friendly realtor. Call Mark Warden of Team Porcupine Real Estate for investment property or rentals in the Free State, or visit his website. Come on, you know it.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate it 5 stars, then share the link on social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm. That's apps.lrn.fm.
What if the key to achieving liberty in your lifetime was to move together with others who think like you? Liberty activists are joining the Free State Project, which is over 85% of the way to its goal of 20,000 participants. And they're already making the move to New Hampshire. The successes are piling up and are proving the Free State Project is a real movement and no longer just a great idea. When you're planning your move, consider Keene. Keene is famous for its civil disobedience and non-cooperation, and there's plenty of political opportunity as well. If you're a regular reader of freekeene.com, you know there's a lot going on in Keene. Keene is the liberty media capital of the world, with television, talk radio, and more, all originating here. Though it's more than just activism, with regular social events each week. See what's happening at freekeene.com and get connected with video, audio, free books, a forum, and activist tools you can download and use in your area at freekeene.com. That's freekeene.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
We're on the radio. It's Free Talk Live. Hey, so are we.
Nice.
On the radio right now. Don't say the F word. It's Ian here with you tonight.
And Conan.
I would never. And Mark.
You did just before I turned the mics on.
I did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I've been so good over all these months.
We've never had to dump you, Conan.
I
That's
know.
right.
I watch Black Sheep Rising, and that's all we do.
Thanks for mentioning that. Black Sheep Rising is your television show. It is a monthly produced show. And it's something that anyone can watch. It's not just available here in our very own Keene, New Hampshire, but it is on cable television here. But folks who want to watch from far away can watch you on YouTube through blacksheeprising.org.
Yeah, you get us multiple ways via YouTube, via the website, blacksheeprising.org, or iTunes or Stitcher. So if you're a podcaster and you just want to, you got long trip ahead of you and you want to listen to a 2-hour show with a bunch of knuckleheads here in Keene talking about the city politics or the activism that's going on, it's a real good way to get a heads up of what we're actually doing here in the area. And it's fun. It's entertaining. I got a couch.
You guys do have a good time.
It's like Wayne's World, but with libertarians.
Coming up, you're going to be broadcasting, or not broadcasting, but you'll be recording your show, Black Sheep Rising. It'll be recorded live at Keenvention, I believe, on Saturday during the lunch break.
Correct. I'm going to try to live stream that. So
that's cool.
The people who have gotten used to watching the show live and interacting with us. We'll still have that option, that opportunity to get at us.
But they really ought to come to Keenvention because then they can actually interact with you.
You're right. I look forward to members of the audience being able to maybe come on up and tell us their story. I'm looking for a first-time attendee and maybe second or third-year attendees, so we kind of get an idea how they feel. They'll have the opportunity to experience the night before's bonfire and the Friday, of course. And they'll get to see the ladies in action that they're on right before us, and it'll be nice to pick their brains. Right now, Katie McCall, Ellen Ball, and Brett Venot are all going to be on the show, as well as regular here Daryl W. Perry.
These are all some great activists in New Hampshire. All of them will be speaking at Keenvention. It's coming up actually in just over 2 weeks from today.
Yep,
so
it's creeping up.
It's not too late to get your tickets. You can go to keenvention.info. Tickets are $60 to get you in for the entire weekend, and it's a small event, so you get to actually meet everybody that you want to meet who's going to be there, and it's a lot of fun to do it. I enjoy it every year. It's our third year doing it. So keenvention.info, go there. You can learn more about the hotel and the event and who's speaking. You can even watch past Keenvention speeches and panel discussions. And Conan, you've been on a few.
Yeah, to get an idea
panels.
what they're actually like. They're informative. They're well done, and there's opportunity for questions at the end of every panel.
It's true.
It's good stuff. But the best part, and I think we've talked about this before, is that it's so small that as long as the panelists aren't running off right afterwards, you can actually go pick their brains.
Yeah, it's true.
These people that you probably listened to on the podcast or doing whatever activism they're doing that you've been seeing from afar. You can actually get in the same room with them, pick their brains, and don't be afraid because they're just like you and me. They're good people.
Keenvention.info, great advice, Conan, and go there. You can also buy your tickets with Bitcoin as well. I don't know if I mentioned that. Keenvention.info. It's happening October 30th through November 1st. That's right. It's Halloween weekend. What a great time to be here in Keene. Check out New Hampshire during the fall. It's just past the peak leaf season, the peak leaf peeping season, but there's still going to be plenty of good leaves to look at, I think, during that weekend. At least that's how it's been the last couple years at Keenvention. So keenvention.info. Now, it made me wonder when you were talking about your show, Conan, Black Sheep Rising, blacksheeprising.org, and we're discussing Facebook providing free internet access, limited internet access, limited basically to Facebook. And they did say that with this Facebook internet that you would get access to Google, but if you tried to actually click one of the links in Google that you would have to pay for the service because it's a free service to people in developing nations, for instance, people that are new to the internet basically and they can't afford it or whatever. It made me wonder if audio, maybe from Black Sheep Rising, or video is on a Facebook page.
So if I embedded the audio
and you can hit play from Facebook, would that work over this Facebook internet connection? Or because it's connecting to blacksheeprising.org or YouTube or some other site, would it fail? I wonder about that.
I'm thinking if you used Facebook to if you use their upload video
then it would
option, it would work. Right. But if you linked to something on the internet, then no.
But like with SoundCloud, we host our episodes on SoundCloud here at Free Talk Live. And when you put the SoundCloud link in on a Facebook post, it actually has the player built in Facebook. So you can listen through Facebook on a regular internet connection. I just find myself wondering, for those that are using Facebook's internet.org connection, what is it like? Is Facebook itself kind of crippled in that way, or does Facebook just say, all right, well, they posted it on our site, so we'll let you have access to it? And in India, the Facebook-only data plan is $2.50 a year. Now, that's cheap for us, but it may not necessarily be that cheap there, given that the full data plan is $10 a year.
Yeah, which one thing you need to understand is that your data on your phone is being provided to you here in the United States through a tower that has to be, all the specs through OSHA and whatever. All the regulations have to be met in the
FCC.
tower. It has to go through whatever zoning process to get this thing up, and just everything that it takes to make radio waves happen in the U.S. In India, they're hanging these things off the side of buildings, I'm sure, and broadcasting off the tops of roofs and stuff like that. I can tell you that that's happening in some countries. I don't specifically know in India, but I'm guessing that's why, among other reasons, that the overhead's lower.
Even in America, Sprint offers a data plan that is solely for access to Facebook and Twitter. In the Philippines, Facebook-only plans cost a fifth as much as data plans. In Ghana, telecom operator Tigo once sold a Facebook phone. It looked like a BlackBerry with a big blue F as the central button on the phone. Finally, there's Facebook Zero, which predates Internet.org and allows users of basic phones access to Facebook at no cost. Mobile operators have grumbled about this particular arrangement, and let them. One day, Facebook will beam its services from the skies with its fleet of solar-powered drones.
Ooh. Yeah, I've wondered about this whole solar-powered drone thing. Didn't they just fly a plane around the world or some long distance that was solar-powered?
I don't know. It sounds plausible.
I think that it happened recently, and I can only imagine the wingspan on this thing, right? Because all you need basically is airfoil, right? You need lift. From the wing, and the longer the wing, the more lift you're going to be able to get, and conceivably, a solar-powered vehicle should be able to stay aloft indefinitely. You can get up high enough, I would imagine, that you're going to get the sunlight you need to have, and you can just broadcast whatever it is you need to beam down, and if it's got a large enough wingspan, you can just stay up there forever.
How about just a solar-powered blimp? So something that's not actually moving around. It's pretty much stationary. It's just floating there.
Could be.
Facebook bosses generally dismiss suggestions that the whole Internet.org project might be self-interested. Writing in Time magazine, Lev Grossman was granted access to Mark Zuckerberg when the Facebook CEO went to India to promote Internet access. When Grossman asks whether Internet.org is self-serving, Zuckerberg allows only that it may, one day, several decades down the line, pay off. He says if you do good things for people in the world, then that comes back to you, and you benefit from it over time. And that's certainly true.
Unless it's giving money to a government school. Zuckerberg. Didn't work, did it?
Dave Wenner, Facebook's finance chief, is more forthright. He said, quote, "I do think that over the long term that focusing on helping connect everyone will be a good business opportunity for us." Unquote. If Facebook becomes one of the top services in these countries, he explained in a recent earnings call, then, quote, "over time we will be compensated for some of the value that we've provided," unquote. And that's a fair goal for any profit-seeking company. And besides, isn't some access better than none at all? This was kind of what I was saying earlier. They didn't have anything before. Now they got Facebook. That's a good thing, right? Well, John Naughton of The Guardian argues that's not the case. And we'll tell you what he has to say. You can join us here if you have an opinion about Facebook providing internet access. I mean, Facebook is ubiquitous enough, but imagine if that was all you could do on the internet. A lot of people, they'd be okay with that because that is all they do. 855-450-FREE. Realistically, what percentage of your time, if you're an internet user, do you spend on Facebook? It's Free Talk Live.
Are you searching for your soulmate? Someone you can trust, who will never betray you? Or cooperate with the NSA? Stop searching. With EasyDNS, you found a keeper. EasyDNS does it all. Domain names, web hosting, and managed WordPress hosting. EasyDNS stands up for your internet freedom. And with servers in Canada, they do not cooperate with the NSA. Go to EasyDNS.com. You'll love their services or get a full refund. They guarantee it. And they accept Bitcoin. That's EasyDNS.com.
If you expect secure, privacy-oriented services and real human support from your web hosting provider, choose Virtual Space International. From domain names and SSL certificates to offshore banking accounts, Virtual Space International has been the all-in-one, multi-language solution for over 25 years, and satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. We even accept Bitcoin. Find out how to get 50% off for life at SaveTimeHosting.com.
Hey, Berkey Guy here. Are you still drinking unfiltered tap water? Does your water contain chlorine or fluoride? Will you have drinkable water in an emergency? The Berkey Guy is here to help you remove these and other potential contaminants from your water, thus helping you drink clean, purified water. We offer Berkey water purification systems at the lowest available prices online. Don't go another moment without a Berkey system. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands drink clean, purified water. Join them by visiting GoBerkey.com or call me, the Berkey Guy, at 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653.
My name's Clyde, age 59, and I reside in Florence, South Carolina. The doctors diagnosed me as having clogged arteries. Felt like I was carrying heavy concrete blocks around my feet and legs. I started taking Heart and Body Extract as directed. It is less than 3 weeks, and I'm like a young man again. It's unbelievable that an herbal formula can work so fast and so powerfully.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here in the remaining moments. We've got enough time for you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. At the Democratic debate, we're going to check in with here.
I've taken responsibility for it. I did say it was a mistake. What I did was allowed by the State Department, but it wasn't the best choice.
This must be an emails question.
And I have been as transparent as I know to be, turning over 55,000 pages of my emails, asking that they be made public. And you're right, I am going to be testifying. I've been asking to testify for some time and to do it in public, which was not originally agreed to. But let's just take a minute here and point out that this committee is basically an arm of the Republican National Committee.
Oh.
It is a partisan vehicle, as admitted by the House Republican Majority Leader, Mr. McCarthy, to drive down my poll numbers. Big surprise. And that's what they have attempted to do. I am still standing. I am happy to be part of this debate. And I intend
Of course she's still standing. The government's not going to go after one of their own for the most part at the federal level, especially somebody with the...
They're going after her, but I don't know what success they'll have. The thing is that it's
all
not
for show.
It's not all for show. This lady's had 22 separate different scandals that have surrounded her. I mean, you ask people about Hillary Clinton, the first things that are going to come to mind are words like Whitewater,
Benghazi,
Lewinsky,
scandal.
This terminology. It's sad to say. I'm not saying she's not a qualified politician. As far as I'm concerned, that's an insult. But I'm not saying she's not as qualified as her male peers. I'm just saying she's been around so long that she's just completely sullied as a candidate. She just can't win against the only Republican I think she could win against is conceivably Bush.
I guess we'll find out how that all plays out.
But you notice, as far as winning arguments, all she had to say was, "Oh, it's the Republicans.
It's the Republicans.
The Republicans are trying to run me out, and this is their strategy." And she got a standing ovation for saying that.
Let's go back to
sure. This is the choir.
Let me say something that may not be great politics.
Oh.
But I think the secretary is right. And that is that the American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too.
That's right, Bernie. They just want free stuff.
The middle class, Anderson, and let me say something about the media as well. I go around the country, talk to a whole lot of people. Middle class of this country is collapsing. We have 27 million people living in poverty. We have massive wealth and income inequality. Our trade policies have cost us millions of decent jobs.
There's got to be some of the drinking game in there.
People want to know whether we're going to have a democracy or an oligarchy as a result of Citizens United. Enough of the...
Wait, I thought this was a democracy.
So the way Bernie is going to fix this income inequality is to give money or give more power to the actual the government that is actually instilling this very system of giving money to the big businesses that are keeping us down, keeping the little man down, making us work.
Don't worry, Conan. When you put him in charge, he'll do it right.
Mm-hmm.
He'll run the government the right way.
Because there won't be billionaires in charge. Drink.
So our toll-free number again, 855-450.
I can't believe they didn't put Citizens United in on the drinking game. It should have been in there.
Well, so far I haven't heard any of them. Any of the buzzwords.
855-450-3733. All right, so let's go back to something everyone can relate to. Facebook.
Oh, yeah. I'm on it.
Nobody cares about these politicians. But, man, who isn't on this Facebook all the time? I mean, there are still people in the United States who don't have internet access, so I guess you're listening to us saying, huh? What? What's all this Facebook talk about? Well, a lot of people are on this, and now Facebook is getting people in developing countries who've not had internet access before onto Facebook. And as QZ.com points out here, well, isn't it better for some people who've never had internet access, period, to have something, in this case, Facebook, which is being given for free in some cases or on a very limited, reduced data plan.
Makes sense to me.
A fifth of, you could, if you want Facebook only, you can pay a fifth of the cost of your regular phone bill and get Facebook only in some countries. And John Naughton of The Guardian argues that's not the case at all. He says this is a pernicious way of framing the argument, and we should resist it. The goal of public policy everywhere should be to increase access to the internet, the whole GD internet, not some corporate-controlled alcove for as many people as possible. By condoning zero rating, we will condemn to a lifetime of servitude as one of Master Zuckerberg's sharecroppers. We can and should do better than that." Unquote. Now, he's referring to public policy. And obviously, I don't believe...
He's talking about like the free Wi-Fi downtown.
He's talking about government.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't believe that the government needs to be providing people with internet access.
Well,
but I also believe they shouldn't stand in the way of it either. And that's one of the problems today, is that the reason why you have limited choice for internet is usually because of the government.
Nobody's stopping people from going and providing free internet to people in emerging cultures.
That's true.
Only Facebook is doing that, and they're doing it because they're motivated to do it.
Well, it's not only Facebook. Google has a plan as well, which I believe involves blimps or hot air balloons.
They
or
might be a
something
little
like that.
behind the curve, and they might be doing it because Facebook already is.
They've all been at it actually for a while. And there's also Outernet, which is providing limited, sort of a closed internet access to people in developing nations as well. And I think Outernet's got kind of a cool model, which is very I guess, democratic or decentralized, where the people, Outernet essentially puts a satellite signal up on free-to-air satellite systems, kind of like where our channel is, the LRN.FM free-to-air channel on Galaxy 19 is the same satellite over the United States that has the Outernet signal. And Outernet is cataloging Wikipedia, so you can get the full Wikipedia over Outernet. And they also allow their users, their supporters, the people that give money to Outernet, to vote on the content that they want put on the system, because you can't put the whole internet on Outernet. They only have so much data that they can put through the system. So it's a limited system, but it's also not limited by Mark Zuckerberg. So there is competition in the area of providing free internet to people around the world.
Facebook has a huge lead.
They certainly do. They got a lot of money. Already, services are starting to move away from the open web and to Facebook. And it's not happening in just the poor world, but in poor parts of the developed world, where there also exists a sense among some that using an app isn't the same thing as using the internet, which requires a web browser like Safari or Internet Explorer. Salix Homes manages government-owned subsidized housing in some of the poorest parts of Salford, a deprived area in the north of England. And Salix recently decided to accept complaints and rent payments from its tenants on Facebook. James Allen, the firm's marketing manager, says we took the view that let's go to where the people are rather than force them to go to our website. As a result, interactions are up 90%, while traffic on the website has fallen. Sounds like what we've experienced here on Free Talk Live. By the way, we do have a redesigned website that we haven't really officially announced yet, but it's there at freetalklive.com. We're still ironing out some of the bugs.
Bug squashing.
Allen is not in the business of deciding whether Facebook's omnipresence among less affluent internet users is a good or bad thing. It's simply a thing. But as Learn Aja's Samarjiva says, it has very serious implications. It's a proprietary platform. It's not the open internet that we love and cherish. Yet, he's optimistic that Facebook eventually will lead its users to that place. He says that maybe it will introduce them to the larger concept of the internet. They're already on the internet. They just don't know they're there.
I agree, and it's the same thing with the console PC argument. I've always felt like console players were in the dark ages. I was playing games that they didn't even find out about until 4, 5, 6 years later. So I always felt that.
When you say you were doing that, what are you talking about?
Talking about like 3D shooters and stuff. And you remember when Oblivion came out on the consoles? It was the.
This is a role-playing game.
Yeah,
and
the console players like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever.
And you played it a few years ago.
Well,
yeah,
no, Morrowind was out on the PC,
Yeah.
so I was, I had already known about all this stuff, and and it's the same thing. It's the same argument. These people are just getting Facebook. They're still in the dark ages, but it's better than nothing.
Better than nothing. I think I'll agree with you on that. I think it is better than nothing, and I like this guy's optimistic view that it could lead them further. It could lead them to break out of Facebook someday and actually go and explore the entirety of the web, which is a very, very amazing place, and look forward to seeing more of that happening. And check out Outernet. The Facebook one is internet.org. I forget what Google's program is called. It's like, I'm sure if you go look for Google Free Internet Program, it'll come up with that. But Outernet, I think it's outernet.is is their website. I'm a fan of what they're doing over there. Anyway, Conan's website, blacksheeprising.org. Go check him out and grab some episodes of Black Sheep Rising.
Oh, yeah.
And check out the new Free Talk Live site. We hope you enjoy it, and you can, of course, send your feedback to us. I'm Ian at freetalklive.com. If you find some bugs, let me know. We'll squash them or do our best to squash them. freetalklive.com is our site. It's brand new, so go check it out. It's Free Talk Live. See you tomorrow.
Fact. The new NSA data center in Utah requires 1.7 million gallons of water every single day to operate. Billions of Fourth Amendment violations need massive computers and the water to cool them. That water is being supplied by the state of Utah. Fact. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution which requires your state to help the feds violate your rights. Our message to Utah: turn it off. No water equals no NSA data center. Visit offnow.org.
Liberty activists around the country are starting to realize politics alone won't set us free. So what will? At Liberty on the Rocks, we believe the answer starts with living your principles, spreading ideas, and connecting with those around you. By starting a Liberty on the Rocks network, you can make a difference by uniting libertarian thinkers. Find out how much fun it is to build your local network from the ground up. Visit libertyontherocks.org today to get started.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Rebel Love Show is next, live after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, October 13th, 2015. Silver is trading at $15.85 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,159 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $251. Antiwar.com reports Syria's largest Kurdish militia, the People's Protection Unit, YPG, have announced they are joining a new rebel faction initially dubbed the Syrian Arab Coalition, but subsequently renamed the Democratic Forces now that they are dominated by a Kurdish faction. The faction includes a handful of smaller Arab tribal militias along with an Assyrian Christian faction. The group is said to be made up of about 3,200 fighters overall, though this is likely primarily the YPG itself, who controls significant territory in the Hasakah province. Ironically, the YPG's main city, Hasakah, is co-defended by it and the Syrian government, so its ties to the rebellion in general are unclear. The promise of a massive influx of U.S. weapons into this new faction, however, likely was sufficient to get them on board. U.S. military officials were quoted as saying they were going to provide fresh weapons to the new faction and get them to attack Raqqa, the capital of the Islamic State Caliphate. The rebels have expressed confidence that they could capture the city in less than 2 months if given enough weaponry, though most U.S. efforts to arm rebels have ended up with the Islamic State coming out even stronger at the end and with a bunch of new U.S.-made weapons. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports a Gallup poll released Monday indicates 40% of surveyed Republicans now favor a single party controlling the Congress and the White House, up from 24% last year. 43% of Democrats agree, a figure similar to the 47% revealed in 2015. Independents this year are more likely than last year to say it makes no difference whether the president and Congress are the same party, 45% this year compared to 39% last year. The change among Republicans can be attributed to the 2014 elections, in which the party gained control of the U.S. Senate to control both houses of Congress. The 2016